Chapter 48-37, the 10-day deadline. Hei Shinjo repeated it a few times. Not to mention the jade glass Bodhi tree, she couldn't even conjure a leaf. At first, everyone was still waiting, but later, they all sneered. This wretched girl was obviously stalling for time. It was impossible for her to conjure the jade glass Bodhi tree again. Master Lei shook his head. If he had known this would happen, he would have chased her back to the Spring of Tranquility when he first discovered her. This wouldn't have happened now. The disappearance of the jade glass Bodhi tree had something to do with this little girl. She was afraid that her life would be in danger. Although the Zen sect only imprisoned Yun Fengjin and Yilan, they did not take their lives because. However, the Zen sect did not have any scruples about Yun Shujo. It was such a pity for this little girl. At this moment, Master Liaowu interrupted his thoughts and said coldly, "Master Liaowu, don't worry. Almsgiver Yun, since you have no way to compensate the jade glass Bodhi tree of our sect, you can only stay here as the lantern keeper of Changming Palace." Hei Shinjo had already thought of a way to delay him while he was talking. He casually said, "Master Liaowu, that jade glass Bodhi tree is quarreling with me. I will summon it again in a few days, and it will come back. But if you kill me, then your Zen sect will never see the jade glass Bodhi tree again. You can decide what to do." Yun Shujo was sure that Master Liaowu would be cautious. Although she could not completely solve the current situation, she could at least delay it for a while. Maybe she could think of another way. As expected, despite the disciples of the Zen sect clamoring to kill Yun Shujo, Master Liaowu still said, "I will give you 3 days. If you cannot make the jade glass Bodhi tree appear again, I can only leave you to be a lantern keeper." Yun Shujo said with a smile, 3 days is too short. The jade glass Bodhi tree is very temperamental. You have to give me at least 300 years. 300 years? How dare you say that? If not for the fact that Master Liaowu still had a trace of luck in his heart, he would have slapped this guy to death. He took a deep breath and said, "I will give you a few more days. If you still can't make the jade glass Bodhi tree appear in 10 days, don't blame me for being impolite. Alright, 10 days it is. Then I will go back to the Spring of Tranquility first." Hei Shinjo said while blinking her eyes. Master Liaowu sneered, "The jade glass Bodhi tree went missing here, so you can think of a way here. Ji Ping, take some men to guard her. Don't let her leave here." A hint of viciousness flashed in Ji Ping's eyes. This stinky girl had finally fallen into his hands. Just wait and see. Master Liaowu's expression softened a bit. He said to the ancestor of the Lan family, "Master Lan, it's not that I didn't give face to the Lan family, but this is a serious matter. Please forgive me. You too should go back to the quiet spring to cultivate." The ancestor of the Lan family was not feeling well. Part of it was because Yun Shuji's life was about to be destroyed, and the other part was that the Zen sect did not put the Lan family in their eyes. If it was not for the incident that happened that year, how could the Lan family have fallen to this state? However, the Lan family did not have the strength to fight against the Zen sect. Although he felt bitter, the ancestor of the Lan family still sighed and left with Elder Tuo. Hei Shinjo saw that the Lan family patriarch had left just like that and cursed in her heart. He was indeed a cold-blooded old fox. Chapter 48-38, Get Lost. Master Lei wanted to help Hei Shinjo excuse herself, but he didn't know where to start. After all, the incident happened in front of everyone's eyes, so he couldn't say anything. Finally, he left with Ji Kong and Ji Su, who turned back every 3 steps. When Master Liaowu and the others left, Ji Ping said with a vicious look on his face, "Yun Shujo, you didn't expect that you would fall into my hands one day, did you? Kneel down and beg for mercy right now, and I will let you survive these 10 days, or I will kill you right now. You are now the public enemy of the Zen sect. Even if I kill you, Master will not blame me. Get lost." Yun Shujo said impatiently. She was worried about the jade glass Bodhi tree right now, so she was very annoyed. Naturally, she had no patience to deal with him. Ji Ping was about to make a move when a monk behind him said, "Martial Uncle Ji Ping, there's no need for you to do anything to deal with such a trash. Hand her over to me." "Alright, Qing Lu, I'll hand her over to you." "Just keep her breathing," Ji Ping said viciously. Qing Lu nodded obsequiously, and then looked at Yun Chuzhou with disdain. "Yun Chuzhou, you are only at the 9th level of the Nirvana stage, while I am at the 2nd level of the Black Lotus, which is equivalent to the 2nd level of the extreme spiritual realm. You are no match for me at all. If you immediately kneel down and admit your mistake to Martial Uncle Ji Ping, perhaps Martial Uncle Ji Ping will spare you this time out of consideration for the goodness of heaven. Otherwise, you will." "Ah. Ah." Qing Lu's words instantly turned into a scream. At the same time, there were also several explosions. Yun Chuzhou held a thick stack of talismans in her hand and sneered, "What's wrong with the 9th layer of the Nirvana realm? What's wrong with trash? I'll kill you all just the same. I'm in a bad mood right now, so I advise you not to provoke me. Otherwise, one by one, I'll kill all of you." Qing Lu's face was covered in blood as he said ferociously, "Yun Chuzhou, you actually dared to use talismans to hurt me? What kind of ability do you have? You must be an idiot, right? Why can't I use talismans? If you keep talking like that, I guarantee that I will blow you to pieces," Yun Chuzhou said contemptuously. "You." Qing Lu was so angry that he almost died. He turned to Ji Ping and said, "Martial Uncle Ji Ping, your Buddhist powers are superb. These talismans are not of much use to you. You better teach her a lesson." Ji Ping looked at Yun Chuzhou contemptuously and said, "Yun Chuzhou, Qing Lu is right. Your talismans are useless to me. Hurry up and kneel down." He was met with a big sack and a sentence from Yun Chuzhou, "Kneel your fucking leg." Ji Ping subconsciously hit the sack with his palm. He was really unlucky. The chili inside flew in all directions. By the time he reacted, he was already choking with tears and tears. "Achoo! Achoo! Stupid girl, you are too mean. Achoo!" Ji Ping was so angry that he almost died. Although the chili was not poisonous, it was so hot that he could not open his eyes. He was afraid that Yun Chuzhou would take the opportunity to attack him, so he immediately condensed a black lotus to block in front of him. Yun Chuzhou pursed her lips, then walked to the side and took out a small pony to sit on the ground. She was not in the mood to deal with these idiots. The most important thing now was how to deal with the jade glass Bodhi tree. If she could not come up with a good solution 10 days later, Master Liaowu would definitely take her life. Chapter 48-39. Someone is courting death. Yun Chuzhou didn't want to cause any trouble, but someone was courting death. After Ji Ping washed his eyes with water, he condensed a black Buddha lotus. The black Buddha lotus rotated slowly, and countless black Sanskrit flew towards He Xinjiu. These black Sanskrit were all formed from Buddha power, so Yun Chuzhou naturally didn't dare to be careless. She didn't use talismans or chili noodles anymore. These things could only catch her off guard. If the other party was on guard, it would be useless. She immediately summoned Sheep Slut number 1 to block the Sanskrit words that were continuously shooting at her. Ji Ping saw that Yun Chuzhou had actually summoned a treasured sword, and the expression on his face became even more contemptuous. This trash actually dared to dream of borrowing external objects? He was truly extremely stupid. However, he was shocked to discover that sword intent had actually condensed around Yun Chuzhou's body, and those sword intent had also blocked the black Sanskrit words. This stinky girl had actually comprehended sword intent? However, even so, she was still not his match. Very soon, she could only cry and beg for mercy. Yun Chuzhou calculated in her heart that if she fought so systematically, she would not be Ji Ping's match at all. After all, Ji Ping's cultivation was much higher than Lan Lumis. She had to make a surprise move to win. Thinking of this, Yun Chuzhou raised her hand, and dozens of small purple needles shot out towards Ji Ping's vital points. Ji Ping looked at those small purple needles with even more disdain. This Yun Chuzhou was really too useless. She couldn't even materialize a spiritual beast. What use could these embroidery needles have? He could even catch them with his bare hands. Ji Ping thought and did the same thing. His hands flipped a few times and the small purple needles all fell into his hands. His lackeys kept shouting and cheering from behind. When they saw Ji Ping catch the small purple needles, they flattered him one by one. "Martial Uncle Ji Ping is really good. You can crush that smelly girl with one finger." "That's right, Yun Chuzhou, hurry up and kneel down and beg for mercy. Otherwise, you're dead meat." At this moment, several explosive sounds were heard, accompanied by Ji Ping's miserable screams. Yun Chuzhou retreated some distance, looked at him coldly, and shook her head regretfully. Ji Ping's cultivation level was much higher than Lan Lumis. Even if he wasn't prepared, those purple needles only blew up his hands until they were dripping with blood, and didn't break his fingers. Alas, it was a pity that De Hua was nowhere to be found. Otherwise, she could have used De Hua to deal with him. The strange grass in Yun Chuzhius Dantian was shaking its leaves anxiously. What was that stupid pig? Let it out? Once the Goei Batsao was out, who could compete with it? Ji Ping swallowed a few pills and looked at Yun Chuzhou viciously. "Bitch, you dare to hurt me? You're courting death. Pitch, you're a monk, how dare you speak such evil words? Have you even read the Buddhist scriptures into the dog's stomach? If you're courting death, I won't stop you." "You brought this on yourself," Yun Chuzhou said coldly. Yun Chuzhius' eyes flashed with killing intent. In any case, she had more debt than she needed. Compared to the matter with the jade glass Bodhi tree, this Ji Ping was nothing. Although it was a little difficult to deal with Ji Ping, she had the curse of the Shao Hanyo and the little flame. As long as she planned carefully, she had a chance to kill him. At this moment, footsteps came from afar. Yun Chuzhou looked up and saw Ji Kong and Ji Su rushing over. Chapter 4840 was all a lie. Ji Kong and Ji Su soon arrived in front of everyone. Ji Kong said to Ji Ping, "The sect master has ordered the two of us to help you look after benefactor Yun." Ji Ping looked at the two of them unkindly. "My master asked you to come? Could it be that you are passing down my master's orders?" Ji Kong took out a law archive and handed it to Ji Ping. Ji Ping saw that it was indeed the law archive of Master Liaowu, so he snorted coldly. "I'm warning you, Yun Chuzhou is going to commit a crime. If you play any tricks, you won't be able to bear the consequences." Ji Kong ignored him. Ever since the incident at the vegetarian hall, he had already seen through Ji Ping's viciousness. Naturally, he couldn't be bothered to feign civility with him. He directly let Yun Chuzhou follow him and Ji Su to an empty space at the side. Ji Ping gritted his teeth. Sooner or later, he would kill these two idiots to avoid being an eyesore in front of him. Ji Kong and Ji Su smiled awkwardly. Then, Ji Kong said, "Benefactor Yun, it was the head of the Lan family who found our master. Our master then suggested to the sect leader that we come over." Yun Chuzhou was stunned. That old fox still had some conscience. She waved her hand. "It doesn't matter. Anyway, it's good that you're here. At least you can avoid Ji Ping from finding trouble with me." Ji Kong and Ji Su felt a little uncomfortable. Although they wanted to help, Yun Chuzhou had caused too much trouble, so they really couldn't help her. Yun Chuzhou naturally saw through their thoughts and smiled. "You don't have to blame yourself. Let's not talk about our friendship. Even if we do have a friendship, it involves the precious treasures of your sect, so it's not good for you to interfere. Don't worry, I've always been lucky. It'll definitely be fine." Ji Kong and Ji Su didn't know what to feel when they heard that. Although this female devil was treacherous, they had to admit that her nature was very kind. They had wronged her in the past. It was already late at night. Yun Chuzhou took out her all-purpose tent and lay inside to catch up on her sleep. Ji Kong and Ji Su looked at each other. This female devil was too ambitious. How could she still sleep at this time? Hei Xinjiu was not overly ambitious. She realized that she had been very sleepy recently. Although it was not as severe as when her primordial spirit was damaged in the ghost realm, it was still very uncomfortable if she lacked sleep. Hei Xinjiu slept all the way until noon the next day. She stretched herself and left the tent. Ji Kong and Ji Su looked at her speechlessly. One day less sleep meant one day less sleep. Was she really not in a hurry? Hei Xinjiu said to the two of them, "Leave one of you here. The other one will help me cook." Ji Kong and Ji Su looked at each other speechlessly. Then, Ji Su got up and went to the dining hall to cook. Yun Shujo took out the recliner and lay on it, thinking about the next step. It would be best if she could turn the damn jade glass Bodhi tree back into its original form. However, she had no idea how the thing disappeared or how it came to be. The guy recalled the situation at that time. First, the jade glass Bodhi tree turned into nothingness, and then the jade glass Bodhi tree gradually turned into a phantom. Could it be true that there was no Bodhi tree in the first place? Hei Xinjiu blinked her eyes and said to Ji Kong, "Little brother Ji Kong, the jade glass Bodhi tree didn't exist in the first place. It's all an illusion." Ji Kong looked at her as if he was looking at a lunatic. "Almsgiver Yun, I may not be a scholar, but you can't lie to me like that." Yun Shujo. Chapter 48-41, Xiao Mogu. Little brother Ji Kong, you don't understand. What is there is nothing, what is nothing is there. There is no Bodhi tree in this world. The jade Bodhi tree you saw was just an illusion. It was Buddha's test for you. Ji Kong looked at Hei Xinjiu, who looked like a fraud, and said speechlessly, "Almsgiver Yun, do you believe what you said?" Yun Shujo. She naturally did not believe that the jade glass Bodhi tree was an illusion. After all, it had existed for so many years. How could it be an illusion? Moreover, if it was an illusion, the jade glass Bodhi tree and the jade glass Bodhi seed should have disappeared at the same time, and there should not be a sequence. Moreover, there was still the outer shell of the jade glass Bodhi seed in her storage ring. If it was an illusion, these outer shells should not have existed. She felt that the damn jade glass Bodhi tree must have played some tricks to disappear. The reason why it did so was probably because it was afraid that she would absorb its juice, and secondly, it wanted to trick her. It was really a damn tree. Thinking of this, Hei Xinjiu narrowed her eyes. Where was that damn tree hiding? She curled her lips. Although she couldn't find that damn tree, she had Xiao Mogu. She didn't believe that the stupid tree could escape from her grasp. Thinking of this, Yun Shujo yawned. "Ji Kong, I'm going to sleep again." "Ji Kong, are you a pig? Didn't you just get up? Why are you sleepy again?" After entering the small tent, Hei Xinjiu summoned Xiao Mogu and let it crawl into the ground. At the same time, the guy came out of the small tent and raised his voice, saying, "Forget it. I'll sleep after brother Ji Su brings home the vegetarian meal." "Brother Ji Kong, let me tell you. Yesterday, that idiot Ji Ping was tricked by me with chili noodles. He's as stupid as he can be." Ji Ping, who was standing far away, was furious when he heard that. He immediately shouted, "Yun Shujo, shut up. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." TSK, impolite? You, this idiot, still want to pick a fight? Do you know why Master Liao Wu accepted you as his disciple? Because you are too stupid. He was afraid that you would make him die of stupidity, so he was kind enough to accept you as his disciple. Hei Xinjiu said with a smile. The reason why this fellow acted like a demon was to attract the attention of everyone present. Otherwise, they might have discovered Xiao Mogu. Now that everyone's attention was on her, and Xiao Mogu was underground, no one would have discovered her. Ji Ping hated Hei Xinjiu to the bone. Now that he was provoked by her, he would not swallow his anger. He immediately brought his lackeys and came in front of He Xinzhou and Ji Kong aggressively. Ji Kong was speechless. Can't this female devil stop for a while? Why did you provoke Ji Ping at this time? He stood in front of Yun Chuzhou and said to Ji Ping, benefactor Yun is related to the jade glass Bodhi tree, so please don't act rashly. Ji Ping glanced at Ji Kong coldly. Ji Kong, get out of my way, or I'll take care of you too. Ji Kong said coldly, Ji Ping, if you continue to act like this, I can only report your actions to the sect leader. Even if you are the sect leader's disciple, the sect leader will not protect you. Chapter 48-42, but Face's reminder. Ji Ping was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Ji Kong was originally very slow-witted. Why did he suddenly become sharp-tongued? If Ji Kong really complained to his master would definitely reprimand him. Thinking of this, Ji Ping gritted his teeth. Anyway, once the 10 days were up, Yun Chuzhou would die. He didn't have to make his master unhappy. Ji Ping glared at Yun Chuzhou viciously when he thought of this. He turned around and was about to leave. There was still no news from Xiao Mogu. How could He Xinzhou let Ji Ping leave? She curled her lips and said, TSK, are you afraid just like that? Aren't you very awesome? I think that you, an idiot, only dare to show off verbally. Wasn't she just looking for trouble? Was she crazy? Ji Ping couldn't care less about Ji Kong's threat. He immediately released a black lotus and rushed toward He Xinzhou in black Sanskrit. He Xinzhou, on the other hand, ran away. You little piece of trash. Come and chase me if you have the ability, you idiot. Ji Ping? I think you should change your name to Sacrifice. I don't know where you got the courage to come out and jump around. Are you trying to show off someone else's excellence? He Xinzhou provoked Ji Ping while running. She completely focused the attention of Ji Ping and the others on her. At that moment, Ji Su came back with his meal. He immediately helped Ji Kong and Ji Kong to stop Ji Ping, causing a huge ruckus. He Xinzhou caused a huge ruckus, but Xiao Mogu gave her very disappointing news. Xiao Mogu searched the ground within a radius of 10 miles, but she did not find any traces of the jade glass Bodhi tree. Yun Chuzhou was afraid that Xiao Mogu would be discovered, so she ordered Xiao Mogu to return to the small tent. She sneered at Ji Ping, I'm hungry, and I don't have time to play with you. If you continue to pester me, I'll tell Master Liaowu. The reason I can't find the jade glass Bodhi tree is because you've wasted my time. Ji Ping's eyes were bloodshot. He wished he could strangle Yun Chuzhou to death, but Ji Kong and Ji Su stopped him. Although their cultivations were not as high as his, it was still a little difficult for them to work together. Moreover, he was also afraid that Yun Chuzhou would spout nonsense to Master Liaowu. In the end, he gritted his teeth and left. There were still 9 days left. He could afford to wait. Yun Chuzhou found a catalyst and returned to the small tent to put Xiao Mogu back into her spirit beast pouch. She was puzzled. Where did that damn jade glass Bodhi tree go to hide? Day after day passed. In the blink of an eye, it was already the 9th day. However, Yun Chuzhou still did not have the slightest clue. Ji Ping was secretly hating Yun Chuzhou, you're dead meat. Ji Kong and Ji Su were very worried. Once the 10 days were up, if this female devil could not find the jade glass Bodhi tree, she would be in deep trouble. He Xinzhou was also very anxious. These days, not only did she send Xiao Mogu to investigate, she also took the risk of sending Xiao Mogu to investigate. She also sent out the spirit bees and spirit butterflies, but there were still no clues. The jade glass Bodhi tree seemed to have disappeared into thin air. This fellow sighed. If she really couldn't do it, she could only use the ancient Buddhist scripture to save her life. At this moment, Buttface suddenly said, Little fairy, don't you still have the relic of the old monk, Su Su? That old monk Su Su should be the ancestor of the Zen sect. As long as you take out his relic, are you afraid of that old bald donkey? Yun Chujiu slapped her thigh. How could she have forgotten about this? Chapter 48-43. I have an idea. Yun Chujiu complimented Butt Face and instantly smiled like a flower. With the relic of the fake old monk, she could definitely avoid this disaster. Although she couldn't let Wu let her parents go, she could still meet them. However, for the sake of safety, she decided to ask around first. Therefore, she asked Ji Kong with a smile, Brother Ji Kong, do you know old monk Wang Su? No. He Xinjiu was dumbfounded. However, she thought about it and blamed her for not explaining it clearly, so she said, I'm not talking about now. It was a long, long time ago, before your Zen sect changed its name. Su Kong still shook his head. I've never heard of it. Ji Su exclaimed and said, I remember now. 10,000 years ago, there was really someone called Wang Su. However, this Wang Su was a traitor of the bitter Zen sect. It was said that he was expelled. As for the specific details, I'm not sure. I happened to see it in a book in the scripture depository. Yun Chujiu. This fellow's heart was like a dog that had been bald. The joy in his heart turned into bubbles. Could that old monk Wang Su have deliberately made fun of her? And he even asked her to bring his relic back to the Zen sect? Wasn't he asking her to be tortured? Since Wang Su was a traitor to the Zen sect, she couldn't take out his relic. If she took out his relic, not only would she not be able to escape, but she would also offend him. Therefore, this path was blocked. As for Wang Zu's last wish, she could only wait until she had the strength to deal with the Zen sect in the future. This guy remembered that he still had a lot of Buddhist lotuses. Why not take them out to save his life? Sigh, he really couldn't bear to do that. But Faye said eagerly, Little fairy, this money is just a worldly possession. It's better to save your life than to bring it with you when you're alive or when you're dead. He Xinjiu also knew this principle, but this guy felt very indignant. She thought that she was smart, but she didn't expect that she would be fooled by a tree. It was so embarrassing. Bodhi was the embodiment of wisdom. It seemed that she had underestimated the jade glass Bodhi tree. This guy laughed at himself and took out the outer shell of the jade glass Bodhi seed to think about it again. One of the advantages of this guy was that he wouldn't give up until the last moment. Yun Chujiu looked at the outer shell in her hand and suddenly sat up from the recliner. She took out an outer shell and threw it on the ground. The outer shell rolled a few times on the ground and then stopped moving. Yun Chujiu's eyes instantly lit up. She curled the corners of her lips. No matter how cunning the dead tree was, it could not escape her little fairy Jiu's eyes. Yun Chujiu immediately stood up and said to Ji Ping, you sent a message to Master Liaowu, saying that I have a way to find the jade glass Bodhi tree. Ji Ping sneered, Yun Chujiu, even if you want to court death, you don't need to miss this day. Anyway, tomorrow is the deadline. He didn't believe that Yun Chujiu could find the jade glass Bodhi tree at all. He thought that she just wanted to see Master Liaowu to plead for mercy. After all, she would die tomorrow morning. Yun Chujiu curled her lips, Ji Ping, you are as stupid as ever. Little brother Ji Kong, you sent a message to Master Lei and asked him to help me tell Master Liaowu that I have a way to find the jade glass Bodhi tree. Chapter 48-44 made him shut his mouth. Ji Kong glanced at Yun Chujiu and sighed. He thought to himself, this female devil must be lying. She probably went to the sect master to plead for mercy. Although it shouldn't be of much use, since she said it, he would help her this time. Thus, Ji Kong sent a message to Master Lei, asking him to pass on the message to Master Liaowu. An hour later, Master Liaowu came with a group of people. Ji Kong couldn't help but frown. Did Master not make it clear? Why did he ask the Master to bring so many people here? Under the watchful eyes of everyone, how could the female devil plead for mercy? He didn't know that Master Lei had made it clear. However, in order to shut up the Lan family's ancestor, Master Liaowu not only called the Lan family's ancestor over, but also called all the famous people of the Zen sect over. Everyone had the same idea. They felt that Yun Chujio was struggling with her last breath, and they didn't believe that she had thought of a good idea. Ji Ping sneered again and again. Yun Chujio was doomed. Master Liaowu came to Yun Chujio and asked in a deep voice, "Master Yun, I heard that you found a way to find the jade glass Bodhi tree. Is it true?" "Of course it's true. It's more real than a pearl." "That bastard, yes, that jade glass Bodhi tree may be cunning, but I still managed to catch its tail," Shinjo said with a smile. Master Liaowu was not in the mood to argue with Shinjo about the details. He asked anxiously, "Then, where is the jade glass Bodhi tree?" Shinjo bared her little white teeth and said, "No rush, no rush. Anyway, I've caught its tail. I'll find it very soon." Ji Ping could not take it anymore when he saw Yun Chujio being so smug. "Master, don't listen to her nonsense. If she really has a way, why didn't she just let the jade glass Bodhi tree show itself? She's just pestering us. Maybe she's up to something bad." Yun Chujio curled her lips. "Master Liaowu, I have to say that you're doing pretty well everywhere. It's just that you've taken in a stupid disciple. I advise you to expel this sacrifice from the sect as soon as possible. Otherwise, your reputation will be tarnished in the future. Stupid girl, you are courting death. Patriarch, save me." The Lan family's patriarch's intestines were already filled with regret, but what could he do? He waved his palm to neutralize Ji Ping's move. He ignored Ji Ping and said to Master Liaowu, "Master Liaowu, since little Jiao said she has found a way, why don't you let her try?" Master Liaowu looked at Ji Ping unhappily and said, "Master Yun, this is not a child's play. If you can find the jade glass Bodhi tree, everything will be fine. But if you can't find it, you don't have to wait until tomorrow. I'll send you to be the lantern keeper today." Yun Chujio swaggered out from behind the old ancestor of the Lan family. "Of course, no problem. However, Master Liaowu, you have to shut that stupid disciple of yours up. Otherwise, it will be bad if his nonsense affects my plan." Master Liaowu's heart was now filled with the desire to find the jade glass Bodhi tree. Therefore, he immediately said to Ji Ping, "From now on, don't speak. Otherwise, I will not let you off easily." Ji Ping was furious, but he didn't dare to say anything. He hated her in his heart. "Stupid girl, keep showing off. Let's see what you'll do if you can't find the jade glass Bodhi tree later." Chapter 48-45, the familiar formula. Master Liaowu urged, "Benefactor Yun, can you make the jade glass Bodhi tree appear now?" Yun Chujio said with a smile, "That little thing is hiding cats and cats from me. I will find it now. You just wait and see." To be honest, everyone didn't quite believe Yun Chujio's words. They felt that she was deliberately mystifying and there was no way to find the jade glass Bodhi tree. Yun Chujio ignored the questioning gazes of the crowd. Instead, she said to Ji Kong and Ji Su, "In a while, follow me and pick up the outer shell of the jade glass Bodhi seed. Do you hear me?" Ji Kong and Ji Su did not understand what was going on, but they still nodded and agreed. Master Lei smiled bitterly. Well, this little girl's words were more effective than his. After Shinjo finished instructing Ji Kong and Ji Su, she took out the outer shell of a jade glass Bodhi seed and threw it on the ground. The outer shell of the jade glass Bodhi seed rolled on the ground a few times before it stopped moving. Yun Chujio took a few more steps forward and threw another outer shell of the jade glass Bodhi seed on the ground. The outer shell rolled a few times before it stopped moving. This cycle repeated itself. Yun Chujio threw it all the way while Ji Kong and Ji Su picked it up from behind. Everyone was dumbfounded. What was this Yun Chujio doing? Was she toying with them? After a while, Master Liaowu frowned and asked, "Yun Chujio, what do you mean? Are you toying with us?" Yun Chujio continued to throw the outer shell of the jade glass Bodhi seed as she said, "Shoo. Don't scare the little thing away." Master Liaowu gritted his teeth and could only suppress the impatience in his heart. He was prepared to wait and see. However, seeing that Yun Shujiu was getting further and further away, even leaving the back mountain of the main peak, Master Liaowu couldn't bear it any longer. Benefactor Yun, this place has already left the back mountain of the main peak. Could it be that the jade glass Bodhi tree is hiding somewhere else? Yun Shujiu said impatiently, it's not a fool. Naturally, it will hide in a safe place. Can you not dawdle and disturb me while I look for the tree? Master Liaowu's face was flushed red from the rebuke. If not for the fact that he was still a little lucky, he would have smashed He Xinjiu into pieces. Ji Ping's face was filled with schadenfreude. This wretched girl actually dared to talk to his master like that. She was really courting death. Another hour passed, but Yun Shujiu still couldn't find the jade glass Bodhi tree. Seeing that Yun Shujiu had actually entered the Great Hall, Ji Ping couldn't help but say, Master, this Yun Shujiu is obviously playing with us. How could the jade glass Bodhi tree be hidden in the Great Hall? Yun Shujiu threw out another outer shell. Seeing that the outer shell had disappeared in an instant, the corners of her mouth curled up. Then, she turned around and said to Master Liaowu, Master Liaowu, I once told you not to let Ji Ping, this idiot, speak, but he spoke too much just now. If anything happens to the jade glass Bodhi tree that I found later, it's all his fault. Please don't blame me. Master Liaowu was a little impatient. You first jade glass Bodhi tree to find, say again. He Xinjiu said with a smile, this is easy. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, the sky and the earth are all in a hurry. Little Bodhi, show yourself quickly. Everyone stared at her anxiously, but nothing happened. Everyone. The familiar formula and the familiar smell. Did this little girl think they were fools? Chapter 48-46 Burning down the Great Hall of Valor. Ji Ping sneered, Yun Shujiu, stop playing tricks. You have no way to find the jade glass Bodhi tree. Just be a good boy and be a lantern keeper. Yun Shujiu suddenly turned her head and stared at Ji Ping coldly, saying, it's all your fault for spouting nonsense and scaring the little thing away. Master Liaowu, if you want to find the jade glass Bodhi tree, hurry up and punish this idiot. Otherwise, it will be too late. Master, don't listen to her nonsense. Ji Ping screamed in pain because Master Liaowu had slapped him out of the Great Hall. The reason why Master Liaowu did this was naturally to not leave any room for gossip. He stared at Yun Shujiu gloomily. Can it be done now? My patience is limited. If you still can't make the jade glass Bodhi tree appear within an hour, humph. An hour is enough, but there is one thing. From now on, no matter what I say or do, you cannot make a sound. Otherwise, don't blame me if all your previous efforts are wasted, Yun Shujiu said seriously. It was the first time that everyone saw her so serious. They thought to themselves, could it be that she was not deliberately mystifying things and really had a way to find the jade glass Bodhi tree? Master Liaowu nodded. Yes. Yun Shujiu swept her gaze across the other people present. Seeing that they all nodded in agreement, she took out another shell of the jade glass Bodhi seed and threw it on the ground. The shell instantly disappeared without a trace. The corner of Yun Shujiu's lips curled up. She was absolutely certain that the damn Wangba tree was hidden in this great hall. The reason why this fellow was so certain was because she suddenly remembered that before the jade glass Bodhi tree disappeared, when she threw the outer shell on the ground, the outer shell would instantly disappear. Then, she recalled the words of a master lei. Every time the jade glass Bodhi tree bore fruit, other than a small number of jade glass Bodhi seeds that automatically chose a master, the rest of the jade glass Bodhi seeds and outer shell would disappear. This meant that the jade glass Bodhi seeds and outer shells were once again absorbed by the jade glass Bodhi tree as nutrients, and she was also taking advantage of this point. In other places, the outer shells did not disappear after landing on the ground, but in the Great Hall of Valor, the outer shells disappeared after landing on the ground. This meant that the jade glass Bodhi tree must be in the Great Hall of Valor. All she had to do was force out that bastard tree. Yun Shujo threw another outer shell on the ground and said coldly, "Little thing, I know you are hiding here. Hurry up and get out. You coward, do you not have the guts to come out and see me? You are really embarrassing the tree. Hurry up and get out. Otherwise, I will burn this place down. Even if you are not afraid of fire, because of you, the Dharma body of the Buddha was burned. You have also provoked karma." Yun Shujo smacked her lips for a while, but there was still nothing unusual. She sneered and raised her hand to strike the cloth curtain beside the Buddha statue with lightning. The cloth curtain was struck by the lightning and instantly burned up. Master Liaowu and the others were so angry that they almost fainted. This smelly girl was not looking for the jade glass Bodhi tree, she was courting death. She actually dared to burn their great hall of valor, she was simply too daring. Just as everyone was about to make a move, they saw Yun Shujo turning her head and giving them a warning glance. Only then did everyone remember what they had promised Yun Shujo previously. They were all gnashing their teeth in anger. Could this damned girl have done it on purpose? Did she think that she wouldn't be able to live anyway, so she wanted to play along with them? Chapter 48-47 The jade glass Bodhi tree appeared at this moment. The cloth curtain had already been set ablaze, and the great hall was filled with a burnt smell. Ji Ping limped in. When he saw the situation in front of him, his face was filled with malevolent hatred. "Damn girl, just do it. You're dead meat." The Lan family's patriarch's heart was like a dog that had been bemoaned. This little girl was purposely provoking trouble in the sky. If you want to burn her great hall of valor in front of the people of the Zen sect, aren't you courting death? If you really burned her great hall of valor, not to mention the Lan family, even the heaven couldn't save her life. At this time, he heard Yun Shujo say coldly, "Little thing, I'll give you 3 seconds. If you still don't come out when I count to 3, I can only let the old Buddha have a taste of being roasted by fire." Just when everyone thought that there would be no effect this time, a green color appeared on the palm of the Buddha statue. Everyone took a closer look. It was actually a jade glass Bodhi tree that had shrunk countless times. Yun Shujo poured a few pails of water on the burning cloth before looking at the miniature jade glass Bodhi tree. This fellow hugged his shoulders and sneered, "Little thing, you sure know how to hide. You actually hid inside the Buddha statue. Unfortunately, I still found you. Don't you feel very aggrieved now?" The aggrieved feeling in the heart of the jade glass Bodhi tree could no longer be described with words. It thought that its wisdom was unparalleled, but in this life, the only 2 things that it had fallen into the hands of this smelly girl. It felt as aggrieved as it could be. 10,000 years ago, this fellow's cultivation was at least very high. It was not too shameful for it to fall into her hands. However, this time, she was just a piece of trash. It actually fell into her hands again. How could it be reasonable? Just as the jade glass Bodhi tree was feeling aggrieved, it heard Yun Shujo say, "What's wrong? Are you still planning to settle down in the hands of Buddha? Hurry up and get over here." The jade glass Bodhi tree was so angry that its leaves were twitching. What right did she have to speak to it like that? If it did not go over, what else could she do to it? Yun Shujo curled her lips. 3 numbers. If you still don't hurry up and get over here, I will burn down this great hall of valor. 1, 2, the jade glass Bodhi tree was so angry that it almost died. Were those monks all dead? No one stopped her when she said that. What a bunch of trash. The jade glass Bodhi tree was afraid that Yun Shujo would really burn the Buddha statue and let it be affected by karma. It could only fly out from the Buddha statue's palm and float in front of Yun Shujo. Yun Shujo looked at the jade glass Bodhi tree in front of her, and 108 ways to deal with this broken tree flashed through her mind, such as frying, steaming, braising. The jade glass Bodhi tree trembled for a moment and then planned to escape. The jade glass Bodhi tree was so angry that its leaves stood on end. However, it was extremely confident that this fellow in front of it would do anything. It could only Cower. Yun Shujo snorted coldly and then said to the dumbfounded Master Liaowu, Master Liaowu, I told you before not to let that Ji Ping spout nonsense. Now, it's all because of his nonsense. In the end, the jade glass Bodhi tree became so small. All of this was caused by him. If you want the jade glass Bodhi tree to return to its original state, you have to deal with Ji Ping. Chapter 48 had been threatened. Although Master Liaowu was confused by what was happening in front of him, he was not so confused that he believed Yun Shujia's words. He knew that Yun Shujo was using this as an excuse to take care of Ji Ping. The most important thing now was to restore the jade glass Bodhi tree to its original state. Therefore, even though he knew that Yun Shujo was deliberately messing with Ji Ping, he still said to Ji Ping, you've made a big mistake. Go to the discipline hall and receive 100 strokes of punishment. Ji Ping couldn't believe his ears. What? 100 strokes? What did he do wrong? 100 strokes of the rod? Master, are you senile? Without Master Liaowu, how can 100 strokes be enough? At least 300 strokes. Little Bodhi, don't you think so? Yun Shujo said as she looked at the jade Bodhi tree. The jade Bodhi tree's heart was like a muttering dog. What could it say? It could only shake its leaves bitterly, indicating that it agreed with Yun Shujia's words. Seeing this, Master Liaowu could only grit his teeth and say, if that's the case, then 300 strokes of the cane will be enough. Ji Ping, go and receive your punishment immediately. Ji Ping's legs went weak and he sat down on the ground. 300 strokes of the cane? That would take half of his life. Master, Ji Ping wanted to ask for mercy, but he was scared back by Master Liaowu's cold gaze. In the next moment, he was taken away by 2 monks. Ji Kong and Ji Zu's admiration for He Xinjiu was like a torrential river. What did she mean by killing without spilling blood? This was it. TSK, 300 strokes of the cane. Ji Ping probably wouldn't be able to get out of bed for 2 to 3 months. Sect Master Liaowu's expression was very ugly as he said to Yun Shujo, Benefactor Yun, I have already done as you said. Can I restore the jade glass Bodhi tree to its original state now? Yun Shujo nodded with a smile, of course. Little Bodhi, let's go. Follow me back to your original position. If you aren't obedient, HMPH. Although the jade glass Bodhi tree did not want to listen to her orders, it could not do anything to her. It had no choice but to accept its fate and follow everyone back to their original place of growth, returning to its original appearance. When the Zen sect members saw the jade glass Bodhi tree that had been lost and recovered, they almost burst into tears. Their precious treasure had finally returned. It was not easy. However, although the tree had returned, the jade glass Bodhi seed was gone. This must be blamed on Yun Shujo. Master Liaowu clearly thought the same way. He said to Yun Shujo, Master Liaowu, what do you think? Master Yun, although the jade glass Bodhi tree has returned to its original state, because of you, we lost the opportunity to let the jade glass Bodhi seed choose its master. What do you think about this? Moreover, I helped you find the jade glass Bodhi tree. Shouldn't you thank me properly? Shouldn't you give me a gift of thanks? Everyone from the Zen sect was so angry that they laughed. They had seen shameless people before, but this was the first time they had seen such a shameless person. Thank you. It would be good enough if I didn't kill you. Are you shameless or not? Master Liaowu was about to flare up when he heard Yun Shujia's faint voice. Master Liaowu, you have to think carefully before you decide what to do. Otherwise, if this jade glass Bodhi tree tries to hide from you again, no one will help you find it. Master Liaowu almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Threat, this was a blatant threat. He didn't expect that the dignified Zen sect's sect master would be threatened by a little trash. Chapter 48-49. The wretched jade Bodhi tree. Master Liaowu originally didn't intend to accept this fellow's threat, but in the next moment, he changed his mind. Because, he was dumbstruck to see that the little girl actually walked in front of the jade Bodhi tree and directly tore a branch into a baldy, while the jade Bodhi tree trembled and didn't have any other reaction. Yun Shujo pulled as she stuffed it into her mouth. Needless to say, the Bodhi leaf was full of juice, and it was even tastier than a spirit fruit. The jade glass Bodhi tree was about to cry. It was so pathetic. If it knew this would happen, it would not have taken revenge on her. But now, not only did it fail to take care of the little girl, it even put itself in a passive position. Could it be that it was going to become Bald Lady again? Master Liaowu anxiously chanted the name of Buddha, Amitabha, stop. Stop. Yun Shujo grabbed another bunch of leaves and said carelessly, these leaves are like hair. If the old ones don't go, the new ones won't come. I'm doing this for its own good. The jade glass Bodhi tree was so angry that the entire tree was in a bad mood. Shameless. Too shameless. She was the one who was greedy, and she said that it was for her own good. The tree was so angry. Master Liaowu felt his head hurt a little. Let's just kill this little girl. Let's not talk about whether the master of the Lan family would stop them. Even if he didn't stop them, if he really killed this little girl. What if the jade glass Bodhi tree went missing again in the future? But it was also true. She was the daughter of Yun Fengjin and Yilan, so she was naturally not simple. It was better to drive her out of the Zen sect as soon as possible so that there would be no more complications. Thinking of this, Master Liaowu said, forget it. Everything happens for a reason. Now that things have come to this, our Zen sect will not hold almsgiver Yun accountable. However, almsgiver Yun is no longer suitable to stay in the Zen sect. Please leave the Zen sect as soon as possible. Master Liaowu, you want me to get lost, don't you? Hei Xinjiu bared her little white teeth and asked. Master Liaowu, was this the reaction of a normal person? Master Liaowu, this is your fault. You took an ancient Buddhist scripture from my ancestor. Are you going to go back on your word? You can either return the ancient Buddhist scripture to my ancestor, or let us stay in the Zen sect for a full month, or you can let me rip off all the leaves of little Bodhi, Yun Shujo said with a smile. He had lost an ancient Buddhist scripture. If he left just like that, wouldn't he lose a lot of money? Master Liaowu was so angry that he didn't even know how to twist the Buddhist beads. How could there be such a shameless person in the world? However, he really had no way to refute. He had originally agreed to let the Lan family's ancestors stay in the Spring of Tranquility for a month. Counting the days, there were only 5 days to a month. Forget it, then let them stay for another 5 days. He would send people to strictly guard and not let this troublemaker leave the Spring of Tranquility. Thinking of this, Master Liaowu said with a gloomy face, forget it, then I will give you another 5 days. Let me say the ugly thing first. If you leave the Spring of Tranquility without permission within these 5 days, don't blame me for not being polite. Yun Shujo nodded. Master Liaowu, don't worry. If I didn't tell you that secret before, I wouldn't have left the Spring of Tranquility. I have always liked to stay still and don't like to move. I promise I won't go anywhere in these 5 days. Everyone's eyes twitched. You? Quiet person? Liar. Chapter 4850, Insha Master Liaowu nodded. I hope so. In that case, Master Lan, please. Although the Lan family's ancestor was not happy with Master Liaowu's neglect, no matter what, this little girl had saved her life. This was something to be congratulated. Therefore, he did not say anything and said to Hei Xinjiu, little girl Jiu, let's go. Yun Shujo blinked her eyes and rubbed the leaves of the jade glass Bodhi tree a few times before she followed obediently. Looking at the bare branches of the jade glass Bodhi tree, the sadness in its heart was like a river flowing against the current. After such a big mess, that little girl did not do anything but it was slapped until it became bald. Fortunately, this little girl had finally left. It could be considered to have saved its last bit of face, or else it would have become bald again. Master Liaowu looked at Yunchujius jumping back, and for some reason, he felt a little flustered. He decided to send the disciples of the Discipline Hall to strictly guard the Tranquil Spring, and absolutely not let this troublemaker run out again. After returning to the Tranquil Spring, the face of the Lan family's patriarch was very gloomy. Just as he was about to deal with Hei Shinjo, he saw Hei Shinjo say with a smile, "Patriarch, time is precious. You'd better hurry up and cultivate. If you want to deal with me, you can deal with me when you return to the Lan family. I can't escape anyway. Also, these Bodhi leaves can be used as medicine, right? Those old bald donkeys are usually very stingy. I reckon you can't get them either. Take these as my gift to you." Hei Shinjo handed the Lan family's patriarch a Bodhi leaf as she spoke. "Patriarch Lan, how can one piece of Bodhi leaf be called this? How stingy are you? Didn't you masturbate a few times? Why did you only give him one piece?" Hei Shinjo laughed dryly and handed 2 more leaves to Patriarch Lan in pain. Buddhists pay attention to the 3 treasures. It's not good to have too many. Patriarch Lan, he couldn't be bothered to argue with this fellow. It was more important to cultivate in seclusion. He would deal with her when he returned to the Lan family. Hei Shinjo saw that the ancestor of the Lan family and old Tua had gone to cultivate. This fellow held his chin and pondered. He had wasted the past 9 days on the jade glass Bodhi tree. He had not managed to get any news about his parents. It seemed that he would probably return empty-handed this time. What made this fellow even more vexed was that after returning to the Lan family this time, it would not be long before that scum Lan Luochen would come out of the forbidden area. Just thinking about it gave him a headache. She didn't know where her gigolo had gone. He was so worried about her. This guy's way of dealing with her was to eat. This guy took out a bunch of Bodhi leaves and started munching on them. After eating a few pieces, this guy saw that the Bodhi leaves were very similar to a leaf that could play a tune that she had seen in her previous life, so he picked up a leaf and started to play. This guy was thinking about his parents, so he played, "Little Cabbage, the ground is yellow." The Lan family's patriarch and elder Tua, who were cultivating, suddenly opened their eyes. They looked at each other in shock. Sonic Kill. This little girl actually knew Sonic Kill? How was this possible? Sonic Kill was a secret technique that had been lost for a long time. How could she possibly know it? However, if it wasn't Sonic Kill, it was simply impossible for cultivators like them to be affected by the music. Even their spiritual sense would be affected. Although this was only the lowest level of Sonic Kill, it was enough to shock people. Chapter 4851. Killing in Sanskrit. The more Hei Shinjo blew, the sadder she became. Memories of her past and present surfaced in her mind. When she thought about how her parents were imprisoned, but she was powerless to do anything about it, the sadness in the song became even more intense. As time passed, other than sadness, there was also a deathly stillness in the song. The surrounding flowers and trees began to wither at a speed visible to the naked eye. The disciples of the Discipline Hall were even in tears. Even though the Lan family's patriarch and elder Tua's cultivation levels were high, their hearts became sour. The 2 of them originally wanted to interrupt Yunchuji's playing, but at this moment, they actually couldn't bear it anymore. What made the 2 of them even more surprised was that the gurgling sound coming from the Spring of Tranquility actually changed. It was actually the music that Ing and Yunchujo were playing. The response from the Spring of Tranquility didn't matter. Even the Lan family's patriarch and elder Tua couldn't withstand it anymore. The 2 of them also fell into a state of grief that they couldn't extricate themselves from. Fortunately, the 2 of them still had the last bit of clarity. They found that at this moment, golden Sanskrit was spreading out along with the music. Oh my God, this was not a simple sound kill, but a Sanskrit sound kill. One thought of flowers blooming, one thought of flowers falling. This was the Sanskrit sound kill. It was rumored that the bitter Zen sect once mastered this secret skill, but it was lost for some unknown reason later on. As the Sanskrit continued to spread, all the flowers, plants, and trees in its path withered. All the Zen sect disciples wept and sobbed. In the discipline hall, Ji Ping had just received 300 strokes of the cane and fainted several times. As soon as he woke up, he heard a sorrowful melody, and instantly, he burst into tears. In the discipline hall, Master Liao Wu used Buddhist power to suppress the grief in his heart. He looked at the Sanskrit language floating in the air, and his heart trembled. It was the Sanskrit sound kill. The Sanskrit sound kill was once the ultimate art of the bitter Zen sect, but it was inexplicably lost. How could it suddenly appear in the world now? Could it be that one of his senior brothers had suddenly comprehended the secret of the Fanyin killer? On one hand, he sent a message to Master Liao Wu, and on the other hand, he quickly followed the sound and leaped toward the back of the mountain. However, as he got closer and closer, he could no longer suppress the sadness in his heart and sat on the ground with a worried expression. The experience of Master Liao Wu and the others was similar to that of Elder Yin. At first, they were happy and shocked, but when they got close to the still spring, they couldn't take another step forward. Naturally, the jade glass Bodhi tree also felt the music. Its entire body trembled a few times. It knew that nothing good would happen when that female devil came. It looked like she had already lost the memories of her previous life, but why was she still so wicked? Dogs really couldn't change that. When the jade glass Bodhi tree thought of this, its trunk trembled. Ba, ba, ba. It didn't say anything. If that female devil knew that it secretly called her a dog, it would definitely become bald again. Buddha bless, do not let that female devil know about this. Fortunately, this fellow had always been ambitious. After the grief, the tune gradually became cheerful, and the quiet spring's response became pleasant to the ears. As the Sanskrit language spread, the surrounding flowers, plants, and trees became vibrant again. All the trees that could bloom bloomed, and even some weeds waved their leaves to express the joy in their hearts. The Zen sect disciples also changed their previous sorrow, and each of their faces revealed a joyful smile. Even the usually serious Master Liao Wu also revealed a kind smile like that of an ant. Chapter 48-52, The wailing of ghosts and the howling of wolves. He Shinjo gradually calmed down, and the music also gradually stopped. This fellow put down the jade glass Bodhi leaf, and was dumbfounded to see that the flowers and plants in front of her had all bloomed. What was going on? While this fellow was still in a daze, Master Liao Wu had already arrived in front of her. Master Liao Wu looked around. Although he didn't quite believe that the Sanskrit music just now was played by this little girl, he still asked, "Were you the one who was playing the music just now?" Yun Shujo slightly raised her eyebrows. "Master Liao Wu, don't tell me that I don't even have the freedom to play the tune." Where did you learn the Fanyin kill?" Master Liao Wu didn't answer but asked. "What is the Fanyin kill?" Yun Shujo looked confused. She saw that the elders and the others were also present. Her heart skipped a beat. Could it be that playing a tune could cause trouble? It's the secret skill you used when you were playing the tune. Master Liao Wu looked at Yun Shujo anxiously. If she could get the Fanyin killer's secret skill again, it would be a great blessing. Yun Shujo was even more confused. Secret skill? I just casually played it. How can this be called a secret skill? Don't you know how to play such a simple tune? Everyone, who are you kidding? Just casually blowing on it could make these flowers and trees instantly complete a cycle of death and vitality? Seeing everyone's reaction, Yun Shujo pointed at herself in disbelief. Could it be that these trees can bloom because of the tune I played? Seeing everyone silently nodding, she first looked dumbfounded, then laughed out loud. In that case, doesn't that mean that I have an incredible ability? Ha ha ha. I told you, I'm naturally talented and useful. I, little ninth fairy, am indeed not an ordinary person. Ha ha ha. In the future, if anyone dares to provoke me, I'll directly blow a song to death. TSK, I'm too awesome. This so-called Sanskrit killing is simply invisible. I'm too talented. Everyone was speechless. However, when everyone thought of the scene just now, they felt that it was normal for this guy to be so smug. This Fanine kill was indeed extraordinary. Master Liaowu interrupted He Xinjia's smug and said, Master Liaowu. Benefactor Yun, where did you learn the Fanine kill? To tell you the truth, the Fanine killer was originally a secret skill of our Zen sect, but it was lost for some unknown reason. If Master Yun can return the Fanine killer to our Zen sect will definitely reward you greatly. Yun Shujiu curled her lips. Master Liaowu, I think my skin is quite thick, but I found that your skin is even thicker than mine. What do you mean by returning it? If you say it's from your Zen sect, then it's from your Zen sect? I didn't use the Brahma voice kill. I used the ghost wailing wolf howling kill. Everyone, Master Liaowu's old face turned red from the rebuke. He gritted his teeth and said, Master Yun, if you can return the Brahma voice kill's secret skill to our Zen sect, I can let you meet your parents. Are you serious? Yun Shujiu asked in surprise. Master Liaowu nodded. Although you can meet them, you can only see them through the enchantment. Only you can see them, but they can't see you or hear anything. That's fine too. Yun Shujiu just wanted to make sure that her parents were safe and sound, even if they didn't say anything. Since you have agreed, please write down the secret skill of the Fanine kill, Master Liaowu said anxiously. He Xinjiu nodded, and then this guy found an important question. What the hell was the Fanine kill? She was just bragging. Chapter 48-53, Senmao He Xinjia's eyes rolled around. In order to meet her parents, she had to make up a Fanine kill for them no matter what. Although this guy wasn't confident, he didn't look guilty at all. He slowly took out a pen and paper and began, drawing a 5-line score. Master Liaowu and the others looked at the 5-line score that Yun Shujiu drew with a blank expression. Was this heavenly book-like thing a Fanine kill's secret skill? No wonder it was lost. Even if this thing was placed in front of them, they wouldn't recognize it. Yun Shujiu drew the 5-line score of the little cabbage once and drew the 5-line score of the 2 tigers again. Then, she said pretentiously, Master Liaowu, this is the secret skill of the Fanine kill. However, if you want to play the Fanine kill, you must use the leaves of the jade glass Bodhi tree. This guy was secretly happy. Didn't that damn Wang Ba Shu trick her? This time, he would make her become bald. Master Liaowu and the others passed the Fanine kill's secret skill to them, but they were all dumbfounded. They couldn't understand it. Master Liaowu could only thicken his skin and say, Master Yun, can you explain it to us? Yun Shujiu said pretentiously, Buddha ferries the fated person, so this Fanine kill naturally needs the wisdom root to be comprehended. You can't force it. You can practice it with the jade glass Bodhi tree leaves. Maybe you will be blessed. Although everyone was skeptical, they felt that He Xinjia's words made sense. It was probably because the Brahma voice killing was too difficult to comprehend that it was lost. Moreover, the jade glass Bodhi leaf was not something that just anyone could obtain. Only the little girl in front of them dared to touch the leaf. If they went, they might be killed by the jade glass Bodhi tree. After discussing with the others, Master Liaowu said to Yun Shujiu, Master Liaowu, you picked a lot of leaves from the jade glass Bodhi tree. Can you return, give some to us? Master Liaowu wanted to say, return, but he was afraid that He Xinjiu would say that he was thick-skinned, so he changed it to give. Yun Shujiu blinked her eyes. I ate all the leaves that I picked before. Only this one is left. How about this, I will help you pick some again. Master Liaowu and the others had no other choice but to agree. Therefore, He Xinjiu happily went to the place where the jade glass Bodhi tree grew again. When the jade glass Bodhi tree saw the malicious smile on He Xinjia's face, its body trembled. It was done for. It must have known that it was secretly cursing her. This female devil had come to take revenge on it. Hei Xinjiu walked up to the jade glass Bodhi tree with a sinister smile on her face. Little Bodhi, since Master Liaowu and the others want to learn Sanskrit, we can only borrow your leaves to use. Don't worry, I will treat you very gently. Be good. As this fellow spoke, he stroked the leaves down. His heart was filled with joy. She was really happy. The jade glass Bodhi tree was on the verge of crying. It was over. It knew that it was going to become bald again. Woo-woo, why couldn't it avoid the fate of becoming bald after 10,000 years? It wanted to resist, but when it thought of the consequences of resisting, it was afraid. Bald was better than dry. Yun Shujiu finally left 3 leaves for the jade glass Bodhi tree, which was euphemistically called San Mao. Jade glass Bodhi tree, it wanted to be quiet, the kind of quiet where it would never see anyone again. Chapter 48-54, Parents. Hei Xinjiu handed the tree leaves to Master Liaowu. Of course, this guy shamelessly deducted a part of the leaves. Master Liaowu could only turn a blind eye to it. Master Liaowu, I've helped you write this secret skill and also helped you pick the leaves. Can you let me meet my parents? Yun Shujiu said anxiously. Master Liaowu nodded. Follow me. This time, there was only one master and Master Lei accompanying them. The 4 of them arrived at an inconspicuous meditation room. They each took out a jade token. After forming a seal, a transparent barrier appeared in front of Yun Shujiu. Inside the barrier was a meditation room. A man and a woman were meditating. The man was dressed in green. He had handsome features, but his hair was mixed with a lot of white hair. The woman was dressed in red. She was extremely beautiful, and her expression was somewhat indifferent. Yun Shujiu instantly had tears streaming down her face. Just by looking, she knew that these were her parents. She trembled and knelt on the ground, her face pressed against the enchantment. Father, mother. Inside the enchantment, Yun Fengjin and Yilan seemed to have sensed something. They both looked at the enchantment but didn't see anything. They looked at each other, smiled bitterly, and continued to cultivate. Yun Shujiu's tears gushed out like a spring. She murmured in her heart, Father, mother, little Jiu is here to see you. Quickly look at me. Father, mother, did you miss little Jiu? Little Jiu misses you very much. Father, mother, little Jiu will definitely save you guys, definitely. Originally, she had transmigrated here and had always felt a vague sense of distance from her original parents. However, at this moment, she felt a heart-wrenching pull. So this was the power of blood. No matter who she was originally, she was now their daughter. Master Liaowu and the other 2 shook their heads. Although they sympathized with this little girl, Yun Fengjin and Yilan were sinners, and they couldn't do anything about it. Yun Shujiu stuck to the enchantment and looked at it for a long time. Finally, under Master Liaowu's urging, she stood up reluctantly. She would definitely save her father and mother, definitely. Yun Shujiu was in a low mood. After Master Liaowu and the other 2 closed the enchantment, she went back to the Spring of Tranquility. The patriarch of the Lan family wanted to ask her about the Fanine killing. Seeing her like this, he didn't ask any more questions. The next day, the patriarch of the Lan family saw Hei Xinjiu was alive again, so he asked, Little Jiu, do you really know the Fanine killing? Hei Xinjiu then remembered the matter of the Sanskrit. She took out a leaf from the jade glass Bodhi tree and started to play. However, nothing happened. Moreover, this guy's playing was out of tune. This guy didn't believe it. He kept playing it several times, but it was still the same. What happened to killing without a trace? What happened to being awesome? The Lan family's ancestor and elder Tua looked at each other and came to a conclusion. It was probably a blind cat that had encountered a dead rat yesterday. The little girl's emotions were probably fluctuating as she accidentally touched the technique of the Brahma kill. It just so happened that she used the leaves of the jade glass Bodhi tree. More importantly, she had the calm spring to respond to it, which was why it had the same effect as yesterday. In reality, this little girl didn't even know the Brahma killing technique. She didn't even know the sound killing technique. Then the problem came. She had written the Brahma killing technique for Master Liaowu. What the hell did she write? Chapter 48:55 Buddha's candle lit up. The ancestor of the Lan family repeated his question. Hei Shinjo blinked her eyes and said, "It's the Sanskrit mantra. I'm just not familiar with it yet." The ancestor of the Lan family shook his head. It would be a ghost if he believed her. However, it was none of his business. He had to seize the time to cultivate. Yun Shujiu saw that the ancestor of the Lan family and Elder Tua had gone to cultivate again. This guy took the leaf and played a few more times, but there was still no effect. This guy knew that he did not know any Sanskrit music, so although he was disappointed, he did not take it seriously. She held her chin and pondered. She had already achieved the purpose of this trip. Although her father and mother were locked up, they looked good and should not be in danger for the time being. What she needed to do was to improve her strength so that the Zen sect would release her. Therefore, she began to sit cross-legged and meditate. Although the spring of tranquility did not have much effect on her, it was very quiet here and could stabilize her cultivation. Soon, the news that Yun Shujiu had failed to play the flute several times in a row reached Master Liaowa's ears. Master Liaowa's heart began to beat faster. Could it be that that little girl didn't know how to play the Sanskrit? But the Sanskrit she wrote was very profound and complicated, and it didn't look like she wrote it randomly. Perhaps she was just not familiar with it. On second thought, it was a good thing that Yun Shujiu didn't master the Sanskrit. Otherwise, if she was really that powerful, she might have caused trouble. Counting the days, not counting 3 more days, that little girl would leave the Zen sect. The Zen sect could finally regain its peace. Just as Master Liaowu was thinking about it, Master Liaowu rushed in a hurry. Master Liaowu couldn't help but feel a little unhappy. This Master Liaowu was already so old, why was he still so impatient? He actually came in without passing the message. Senior brother sect leader, it's a happy occasion. A great happy occasion. Master Liaowu said excitedly. Master Liaowu was stunned. What joyous occasion? The Buddha's candle is lit. What? You mean the Buddha's candle is lit? Master Liaowu suddenly stood up, his face full of excitement. As Master Liaowu spoke, he directly left the meditation room and looked in the direction of the Changming Hall. He saw that the entire Changming Hall was covered in a layer of golden light, and he could faintly smell a faint fragrance. This kind of fragrance had the effect of calming the qi and concentrating the mind. It was indeed the fragrance emitted by the Buddha's candle when it was burning. Amitabha, good. I didn't expect that we would be able to see the Buddha's candle reignite in our lifetime. It's really Buddha's blessing. Master Liaowu was so excited that his eyes were red. Master Liaowu nodded and said, "Let's go to the Eternal Brightness Palace." On the other side, Hei Shinjo, who was cultivating in the quiet spring, sniffed. Where did the fragrance come from? While she was wondering, she heard the ancestor of the Lan family and Elder Tua say, "I didn't expect that the Buddha's candle of the Zen sect would be rekindled. From now on, the Eternal Brightness Palace won't have to arrange any lamp keepers anymore." Hei Shinjo blinked her eyes. She had not forgotten that old monk who had once wanted her to be a lamp keeper. The ancestor of the Lan family had even told her that the lamp keepers were all dead. What was going on? Hei Shinjo walked up to the ancestor of the Lan family and asked, "Ancestor, can you tell me about the lamp keepers? And what the hell is this Buddha's candle?" Chapter 48:56 The Messenger of Buddha's Candle. The ancestor of the Lan family explained, "The Buddha's candle is one of the 3 treasures of the Zen sect. It is said that the Buddha's candle will never be extinguished. The light and fragrance it gives off are very beneficial to the cultivation of the Buddha's power. However, it was suddenly extinguished 10,000 years ago for some unknown reason. Since then, it has never been reignited. The Zen sect had no choice but to build a hall of eternal light and place the Buddha's candle in it. As for the lamp keeper, he is responsible for taking care of the 108 Buddha's candles in the hall of eternal light and will never be extinguished. Yun Chuzhou frowned. Forefather, didn't you tell me that the lamp keepers are all dead? Were you lying to me before? The Lan family's forefather smiled and said, I didn't lie to you. Most of the lamp keepers who enter the Hall of Eternal Brightness will not live for more than half a year. As for the reason, we don't know. This has also become a mystery of the Zen sect, and has become the most severe punishment of the Zen sect. Yun Chuzhou curled her lips. I see. Maybe the lamp keeper was eaten by the Buddha's candle. Nonsense. The Buddha's candle is an important treasure of the Zen sect. How could it harm people's lives? The patriarch of the Lan family scolded. Patriarch, you can't say that. Didn't you see that jade glass Bodhi tree trying to strangle me before? So the Buddha's candle might not be a good thing. Yun Chuzhou retorted. The old ancestor of the Lan family looked at her speechlessly. Forget it. No matter what happens to the Buddha's candle, it has nothing to do with us. Just focus on cultivating. Yun Chuzhou nodded. She was not interested in the Buddha's candle, and she could not eat it. On the other side, Master Liaowu and the others rushed to Changming Hall. They saw that the 108 Buddha lamps that were originally lit in Changming Hall had all been extinguished, only the 10-foot-tall golden candle in front of them was emitting a golden light. Master Liaowu and the others immediately knelt down and kowtowed. The wick of the Buddha's candle shook slightly. At this moment, Ji Ping walked in from outside the hall. Master Liaowu and the others were all stunned. Ji Ping had previously received 300 strokes of the cane. Why did it seem like nothing had happened to him? Ji Ping's face was filled with pride. Master, Buddha's candle had just given me a dream. It chose me as its messenger and as a reward, it healed my injuries. Ji Ping's words immediately caused a huge commotion. What? Buddha's candle actually chose Ji Ping as its messenger? It even healed his injuries? Everyone was skeptical. At this moment, Buddha's candle's wick trembled. Ji Ping said, Master, Buddha's candle said that in order to make you believe, it will immediately let the Buddha's light flourish. This time, everyone present no longer doubted Ji Ping's words. They looked at Ji Ping with envy. Ji Ping was very pleased in his heart. Initially, he had suffered a great blow and felt that he would not be able to raise his head in front of everyone in the future. He did not expect that the Buddha's candle would actually choose him. It was truly a stroke of luck. Sect Master Liaowu looked at Ji Ping with a much gentler gaze. Buddha's candle has chosen you as the messenger. This means that you have a wisdom root. Master did not misjudge you. Ji Ping was secretly resentful in his heart. What the old thing said sounded nice. Why didn't he say that when he was punished with 300 strokes of the cane? However, the most hateful person was still that stinky girl, Yun Chuzhou. He could use this opportunity to teach that stinky girl a lesson. Although he had the intention to frame Yun Chuzhou, he had just been chosen by Buddha's candle. He did not dare to act rashly and decided to wait for another 2 days. However, he did not expect Buddha's candle to say to him, there is actually a woman near the spring of tranquility. This is a great disrespect to Buddha. Quickly kill that woman. Chapter 48-57, Killing on the Spot. Ji Ping was ecstatic when he heard this. That damned girl is dead for sure this time. Master, Buddha's candle said that there was a woman near the still spring. This is a great disrespect to Buddha, so he asked us to kill her. Ji Ping suppressed the ecstasy in his heart and said. Is this really what Buddha's candle said? Sect Master Liaowu frowned. He somewhat suspected that this was what Ji Ping fabricated for the sake of public and private revenge. Ji Ping was secretly resentful. This old thing actually dared to suspect him? Master, if I were to lie, how could Buddha's candle not have any reaction? Besides, how would I dare to fake Buddha's candle's words? Wouldn't I be courting death? Master Liaowu thought about it and agreed. Although Ji Ping was stupid, he didn't have the courage to lie in front of Buddha's candle. However, was he really going to kill Yun Chuzhou? This was too hasty. Master Liaowu bowed to Buddha's candle. Buddha's candle, the Lan family used an ancient Buddhist scripture as a condition. That's why I let them cultivate near the spring of tranquility. Therefore, it's not good to kill her. Why don't we expel Yun Chuzhou from the Zen sect? What do you think? Ji Ping snorted. Master, Buddha's candle said that no matter what happened before, that Yun Chuzhou had sullied the spring of tranquility. We must kill her, or else the Zen sect will be in big trouble. Buddha's candle also said that the reason why it reignited was to warn us. If that Yun Chuzhou doesn't die, the Zen sect will never have peace. Master Liaowu and the others were really in a difficult position. Killing people for no reason would bring about karma, but not killing them, if what Buddha's candle said was true, wouldn't the Zen sect be in danger? Just as everyone was hesitating, the 108 Buddha lamps in Chongming Hall were all turned into ashes. Everyone was so scared that they quickly knelt on the ground. They knew that Buddha's candle was angry. Ji Ping saw this and felt very happy. He said, Master, it'll bring people to catch Yun Chuzhou and let Buddha's candle decide. Master Liaowu thought that this would work too. Maybe things would turn around. So he said, then you should invite Master Lan and the other two over first. Then we can discuss the next step. Ji Ping nodded in agreement and led the disciples of the Discipline Hall to the tranquil spring. He sneered in his heart. Invite them over? He would take that bitch's life in a moment. In any case, this was Buddha's candle's order. Even if he killed with that old fart, he wouldn't dare to do anything to him. As for the master of the Lan family and that hunchback, it was obvious that they didn't take Yun Chuzhou seriously. As long as he knew what was at stake, he believed that they wouldn't interfere. Soon, Ji Ping and his men arrived at the Spring of Tranquility. Patriarch of the Lan family, I was ordered by Buddha's candle to kill Yun Chuzhou. Please do not interfere. Ji Ping went straight to the point and explained his purpose of coming. The Discipline Hall disciples behind him did not know the details, so they believed Ji Ping's words. The patriarch of the Lan family was stunned. What did you say? Buddha's candle wants you to kill little Zhou? Why? Buddha's candle said that if Yun Chuzhou doesn't die, the Zen sect will never have peace, so she must die. Master Lan, this concerns the survival of our Zen sect, so we can only kill her, Ji Ping said viciously. The patriarch of the Lan family frowned. How can little Zhou make your Zen sect never have peace? Could there be a mistake? Why don't we go see Master Liaowu first, and then make a decision? Ji Ping would never agree. He was eager to kill Yun Chuzhou to take revenge, so he sneered, Master Lan, how can we delay the order of Buddha's candle? Do it. Chapter 48-58, Come and kill me. Ji Ping gave the order, and the dozens of Discipline Hall disciples behind him swarmed forward, surrounding the three ancestors of the Lan family in the middle. Master Lan, I won't make things difficult for you. As long as you and Elder Tua don't interfere, you can leave this place and continue your cultivation. The face of the Lan family's ancestor was a bit gloomy. He took out the voice transmission talisman and wanted to ask Master Liaowu what was going on, but he found that the voice transmission talisman was not sent successfully. Ji Ping sneered in his heart when he saw this. The Hall of Immortals isolation talisman was also the reason why he dared to do this, because the Lan family's patriarch had no way to find out the truth in a short time. By the time he found out the truth, Yun Chuzhou was already dead. The Lan family's patriarch was in a bit of a dilemma. Although it was not difficult for him to deal with these disciples of the discipline hall, once he made a move, he would lose all decorum with the Zen sect. Was it worth it for Yunchujo, the troublemaker? Ji Ping saw that the old ancestor of the Lan family was a little hesitant and said, Master Lan, since Yunchujo is the ominous person mentioned by the Buddha's candle, she must have some influence on your Lan family. You'd better not interfere. Hearing this, the old ancestor of the Lan family felt his heart beat faster. If it were not for her, Luo Chen would not have fallen to this state. Could it be that she was really an ominous person? Buddha's candle was an important treasure of the Zen sect. Naturally, what it said would not be wrong. Could it really not care about this little girl's life and death? At this time, Yunchujo, who had been silent all this time, said lightly, Ji Ping, you don't have to go through so much trouble. I have lived enough anyway. Come and kill me directly. Everyone, was this little girl crazy or stupid? Ji Ping looked at Yunchujo suspiciously. Yunchujo, what trick are you playing again? I'm telling you, no matter what, you're dead today. Anyway, I can't escape today, so I won't struggle in vain. Come and kill me. Yunchujo closed her eyes as she spoke, looking like she was at the mercy of others. Although Ji Ping still had some doubts in his heart, he hated Yunchujo too much. On second thought, seeing that he had convinced the head of the Lan family, it was possible that Yunchujo knew that she could not survive and gave up on herself. Moreover, his cultivation level was much higher than Yunchujia's, so he was not afraid that she would play any tricks. Therefore, he walked in front of Yunchujo with a sinister smile and slapped Yunchujia's head. The ancestor of the Lan family was still hesitant. Before he could decide whether to attack, he heard Ji Ping scream. The Lan family's patriarch only felt that Ji Ping's head was in Yunchujia's hand in the blink of an eye. He was shocked. How did she do it? It turned out that the moment Ji Ping got close to Yunchujo, he stumbled and wanted to get up, but his feet were entangled by something. Although the lightning didn't do anything to Ji Ping, the small flame directly burned his right arm into charcoal. Yunchujo went forward and cut off Ji Ping's head with her sword. When Yunchujo cut off Ji Ping's head, she conveniently kept Xiao Mogu into her spirit beast pouch. All of this happened in a flash, and because the Lan family's ancestor and the others were too shocked, they were unable to discover the existence of Xiao Mogu and the small flame. Yunchujo held Ji Ping's head and said to the people from the discipline hall, I won't make things difficult for you. Take me to the Temple of Immortals now. Otherwise, I will kill all of you with my Sanskrit voice. The people from the discipline hall looked at each other. The horrifying scene yesterday was still vivid in their minds. They thought that since Yunchujo was willing to take the initiative to go to the Temple of Immortals, they didn't need to take the risk, so they nodded and agreed. Chapter 48-59, This Troublemaker, was too much. Yunchujo looked at the old ancestor of the Lan family with a complicated expression. Old ancestor, do you want to cultivate here or go to the Temple of Immortals with me? The old ancestor of the Lan family looked at Yunchujia's clear eyes and felt somewhat guilty. He said dryly, let's go together. Yunchujo sneered in her heart. She didn't have any high hopes for this old fox. It was better to rely on herself. She didn't say much. She put Ji Ping's head into her storage ring and followed the people from the discipline hall to the Temple of Immortals. Master Liaowu of the Lan family was now in a mess. Let's not talk about why Buddha's candle wanted this troublemaker's life. Now that she killed the disciple of Master Wu, it wouldn't be good. On the other side, Master Liaowu and the others from the Temple of Immortals didn't know that Ji Ping was dead, but Buddha's candle did. Ji Ping was the messenger that it had chosen. Once Ji Ping died, it naturally sensed something. It secretly hated in its heart. What a waste. He actually died just like that. However, when that smelly girl arrived at the Temple of Immortals, she would be taught a lesson. The humiliation from 10,000 years ago would be settled today. Just as Master Liaowu and the others were feeling anxious, they saw the three ancestors of the Lan family coming over. Where's Ji Ping? Could it be that Buddha's candle had arranged for him to do something else? When the three ancestors of the Lan family entered the Temple of Immortals, Yun Chujia's gaze immediately fell on the Buddha's candle. She raised her eyebrows. A broken candle actually dared to go against her? If it didn't know its place, it would pull out its wick in a while and turn it into a hollow wax. Although Master Liaowu saw the serious expressions of the Lan family's old ancestor and elder Tua, he didn't care too much. After all, Buddha's candle wanted to kill Yun Chujio, so it was normal for them to act like this. Master Lan, sigh. I think Ji Ping has already told you, right? Buddha's candle insisted on killing benefactor Yun, so I could only ask him to invite the three of you over. We will discuss it, Master Liaowu said. Master Lan was stunned. Master Liaowu, do you mean that Ji Ping is going to invite us over instead of directly killing little Jiu? Master Liaowu was stunned for a moment, then said, that's right. I asked him to invite the three of you over. Perhaps Buddha's candle will not pursue the matter with Master Yun after explaining a few things to him. Yun Chuzhou snorted coldly. Master Liaowu, but that Ji Ping did not say that. He kept saying that he wanted to kill me on the spot, and even told my master not to interfere. What? There's actually such a thing? This Ji Ping is really bold? There's no need to explain. Normally, I would never trouble others with matters that I can solve by myself. Yun Chuzhou said as she took out Ji Ping's head from her storage ring and threw it on the ground. Everyone couldn't believe their eyes. This was Ji Ping's head? Ji Ping was killed? Although Master Liaowu despised Ji Ping's stupidity, he was still his disciple after all. Now that he was killed, how could he not be angry? Yun Chuzhou, what do you mean? Why did you kill Ji Ping? Master Liaowu stopped addressing Yun Chuzhou as benefactor Yun in his anger. Yun Chuzhou snorted coldly, what a joke. He wanted to kill me for no reason. If I didn't kill him, would I have kept him for the new year? You are allowed to kill people, but no one is allowed to resist. Is this the benevolence of your Zen sect? Moreover, Ji Ping was killed by my ancestor. What does it have to do with me? Even a good-for-nothing like me can't kill him. The ancestor of the Lan family, he finally understood what it meant to be wicked. This troublemaker was too wicked. Chapter 4860, Creating Rumors is Free. The ancestor of the Lan family had the intention to deny it, but as an elder, he couldn't bring himself to put the blame on the younger generation. Moreover, based on his understanding of this troublemaker, if he denied it, she would definitely have other plans waiting for him. Even if there were disciples of the discipline hall to testify, this troublemaker would definitely be able to twist the truth. However, he would not allow He Xinjiu to pin the blame on him, so he said, Master Liaowu, Ji Ping forcefully wanted to kill little Jiu. I injured him in order to save someone. Initially, the matter ended here. However, he suddenly made things difficult for little Jiu. Little Jiu made a mistake and killed him. Yun Chuzhou curled her lips. This old fox was really cunning. By saying this, he first took the moral high ground and then pushed the crime of murder onto her. Master Liaowu naturally wouldn't let it go just like that. Just as she was about to say something, she heard Yun Chuzhou say, "Well, talk about these trivial matters later. Didn't you say that Buddha's candle was looking for me? Is it that ugly candle?" Master Liaowu was so angry that he was half dead. What did he mean by trivial matters? Was the death of his disciple a trivial matter? And the ugly candle? That was Buddha's candle, all right? The wick of Buddha's candle began to tremble violently. It had chosen Qing Lu outside the hall as the messenger. Furthermore, this time, it did not need to clear the path to deliver the message. It had directly taken control of his body. Impudent! How dare you slander me like this? Quickly kill her. Everyone was stunned when they saw Qing Lu walk in from outside the hall and heard what he said. Was he possessed by Buddha's candle? Yun Shujiao looked at Qing Lu and then at Buddha's candle, who was not far away. Then, she said with a chuckle, "Ugly candle, you said that you couldn't choose a decent messenger? Look at the things you chose. Each one is worse than the other. They really have the same taste. Who are you calling ugly? You're the ugly one. Your whole family is ugly. Your ancestors are all ugly for 8 generations." Buddha's candle said through gritted teeth. Yun Shujiao blinked her eyes and then said to the ancestor of the Lan family, "Ancestor, it called you ugly, aren't you going to kill it?" The ancestor of the Lan family, Master Liaowu, said with some hesitation, "Buddha's candle, why do you have to kill Yun Shujiao? Why are you talking so much nonsense? If you don't kill this wretched girl, the Zen sect will suffer a great calamity, and the entire Zen sect will be destroyed." Buddha's candle shouted sternly. Yun Shujiao slapped Qing Lu's face. "You don't need money to spread rumors, do you? I'll slap your jinx to death. You still call yourself Buddha's candle? Since you're Buddha's candle, you should sweep the floor and not harm the lives of the ants. You should cherish the moth gauze lamp, but you just opened your mouth and shut your mouth, wanting to kill people. Where is the slightest bit of compassion?" Buddha's candle only controlled Qing Lu's body, so it did not feel any pain. However, it was embarrassing. Buddha's candle's wick began to tremble violently. The golden light turned into countless Sanskrit words and swept towards He Xinjiao. Yun Shujiao shamelessly pushed Qing Lu's body forward, and all the Sanskrit words landed on Qing Lu's body. Qing Lu immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Buddha's candle said in exasperation, "You vicious little girl, you're shameless." Yun Shujiao shrugged her shoulders. "You're the one who injured her, what does it have to do with me? Besides, if you didn't insist on possessing Qing Lu, none of this would have happened." Chapter 48-61, Where is your face? Buddha's candle was so angry that it almost died. It gnashed its teeth and said, "I order you to kill this brat immediately, or else I will turn the entire Zen sect into a living hell." TSK, the fox's tail has been exposed, hasn't it? Since you are the treasure of the Zen sect, you should take it as your responsibility to protect the Zen sect. But you, in order to achieve your goal, you actually threatened to turn the Zen sect into a living hell. This means that you have long been possessed by the devil. You are no longer worthy of becoming the Buddha's candle. I think you are the devil's candle. Also, I heard that many lamp keepers don't live past half a year. It must be your doing. Master Liaowu, I didn't expect that your Zen sect would actually treat such a thing as a treasure. It really makes people sigh. Yun Shujiao said with a sigh. Upon hearing this, Master Liaowu and the others immediately became suspicious. Yes, why was the Buddha's candle so vicious? Also, the previous lamp keepers had indeed all died. It was just that they had previously thought that it was because those people had committed heinous crimes that Buddha's candle had taken their lives. Could it really have something to do with this Buddha's candle? Nonsense. I was just saying it. My main goal was to kill you. Otherwise, the Zen sect would have been destroyed because of you. Do you really believe her or me? If you kill her, my Buddha's candle will be enough to improve your cultivation. Buddha's candle changed to a bait. Master Liaowu and the others were tempted. When the Buddha's candle was in full bloom, they all felt that it would help their cultivation. Moreover, Yun Shujiao had killed Ji Ping and seriously injured Qing Lu. Even if she was killed, no one would be able to say anything wrong about the Zen sect. At this moment, Yun Shujiao said faintly, "If you are not afraid of going mad, just do as it says. It has already become a demonic candle. Even if the light it gives off is a demonic light that contains evil energy. I advise you to quickly seal this demonic candle or kill it. Otherwise, your Zen sect will become a devil sect. Don't you think about why it was extinguished 10,000 years ago? The ancestors must have found some clues and sealed it. However, you gave it so many lamp keepers. This demonic candle absorbed the essence of those lamp keepers, so it was rekindled. Do you think this is a good thing? This is a disaster. Since I've said this, you can decide what to do. I have never been afraid of death. If you want to kill me, then kill me. Buddha's candle almost fainted from anger. Don't you know how it was extinguished back then? Yin Shujia's heart sank. She was afraid that Buddha's candle would say that she was the ghost ancestor. She directly slapped Qing Lu's face. There's no need for you to sow discord here. Yes, my parents were imprisoned here, but they didn't do anything to their children. This has nothing to do with me. Moreover, all beings are equal. Can't I tell you what I think? You, a treasure of Buddhism, actually joined the devil path, and you still have the nerve to show off here? If I were you, I would have turned into ashes and dried my tears long ago. Where's your face? I'm asking, where's your face? You're talking nonsense. I didn't join the devil path. If you didn't join the devil path, how did those lamp keepers die? Do you dare to say that it has nothing to do with you? Yin Shujio asked with a sneer. She was relieved in her heart. This idiot finally changed the topic. Chapter 4862 serves you right for not lighting up even after 10,000 years. Buddha's candle was obviously a little guilty. Of course, their deaths have nothing to do with me. TSK, you'll be struck by lightning if you lie. Yin Shujio snorted coldly. Boom! A purple heavenly lightning descended from the sky. Although it did not strike Buddha's candle, it struck the roof of Changming Hall, causing the entire Changming Hall to tremble. Buddha's candle trembled in fear. Amitabha. It's related to me. I was just too bored, so I wanted to play with them. Who would have thought that they were too cowardly and scared themselves to death? Oh. How did you play with them? It's nothing. I just didn't let them move and used the Buddha's candle to scare them. Who knew that they were so cowardly that they could be scared to death this way? Buddha's candle said with some grievance. Everyone, you deserve to be extinguished. You deserve to not light up for 10,000 years. Yin Shujio looked at Master Liaowu and said, Master Liaowu, you heard it. This Buddha's candle is just a nonsensical thing. Its words have no credibility at all. Moreover, it can possess other people's bodies. If it were to possess you one day, the consequences would be TSK. Therefore, it's better to extinguish it so that the Zen sect won't be disturbed. Yin Shujio's words clearly touched Master Liaowu. Keeping such a Buddha's candle that could be possessed with one's body was a huge hidden danger. If it were to possess him on a whim one day, it might take his old life. The other people of the Zen sect also looked at the Buddha's candle vigilantly. Previously, when Ji Ping was chosen, everyone was a little envious. After all, he was just a messenger. But now, it was different. Buddha's candle had directly controlled Qing Lu's body. Perhaps Qing Lu's soul had been taken by it. This was too terrifying. When Buddha's candle saw everyone's expressions, he suddenly had a bad premonition. He hurriedly said, Don't listen to her nonsense. The reason why I possessed her body this time is because the situation is urgent. Normally, I wouldn't do this. It was fine if the Buddha's candle didn't explain, but this explanation made the people of the Zen sect feel even more uneasy. This Buddha's candle had taken the lives of so many lamp keepers just for fun. In the future, it would surely become even worse. Yin Shujio was right. This wasn't a Buddha's candle, it was clearly a devil's candle. Buddha's candle was so angry that it almost died. How did it become a devil candle? That smelly girl turned it into a devil candle with just a few words? Yin Shujio shrugged her shoulders. I don't know about that. Am not a member of your Zen sect. However, you'd better be on your guard. Otherwise, it will attach itself to someone else's body to sow discord and cause trouble. Buddha's candle couldn't bear it any longer and cursed angrily, "A bunch of idiots. You just believe whatever this stupid girl says. Are you all idiots? Don't you know that she is, your great aunt? Ugly candle, I advise you to be more sensible, or else you'll be struck by lightning again." Yun Chujo threatened. Buddha's candle thought of the purple heavenly lightning just now and couldn't help but tremble. She swallowed the words that were about to come out of her mouth. Yun Chujo snorted coldly when she saw this. "If you don't want to be extinguished, it's not like there's no other way. If you beg me, maybe I'll be kind enough to give you some pointers." Buddha's candle was so angry that it was twitching. This stupid girl was so weak now, but she could still eat it to death. Woo woo, where's justice? Where's justice? Chapter 4863 Buddha's Candle, Humph, beg you? No way. Besides, you have no way to extinguish me. What am I afraid of? Buddha's candle said angrily. It found that this female devil had lost her memory, so she didn't know how to extinguish it. In that case, what was it afraid of her for? With this thought, Buddha's candle suddenly had nothing to fear. It felt that Kingla's body was really not that good, so it switched to another disciple and jumped into Changming Palace. Humph, you bunch of trash. From now on, I am the boss of this Zen sect, and you all have to listen to me. Now, all of you kneel down and kowtow to me, or else I won't be polite. Master Liaowu and the others felt as if their hearts had been bleeded. Was this Buddha's candle crazy? No wonder it had been extinguished for 10,000 years, it deserved it. This kind of thing, it would be best if it was extinguished for the rest of its life. Seeing that no one was moving, Buddha's candle said in exasperation, "How dare you disobey me? If you don't kneel down to me, I will kill this disciple." Master Liaowu and the others saw that the disciple possessed by Buddha's candle was holding a sword across his neck. Each and every one of them was as big as a bucket. If they didn't do it, not only would this disciple's life be over, Buddha's candle would also harm other disciples. But if they did it, wouldn't it increase the prestige of Buddha's candle? It was really worrying to death. Buddha's candle saw that everyone was in a difficult position. He laughed strangely in excitement. "It's fun. It's fun. It's really fun. Quickly kneel down." Master Liaowu and the others saw that there was already a bloody scar on the neck of the disciple possessed by Buddha's candle. They could only kneel down. After all, they had knelt before Buddha's candle before, so it wasn't too embarrassing. When the Buddha's candle saw that Yun Chujo and the other two were still standing, he said angrily, "Damn girl, why aren't you kneeling?" Yun Chujo curled her lips. "Am not a member of the Zen sect. If you want to kill me, then kill me. What does it have to do with me?" Master Liaowu, since the Lan family has nothing else to do here, we will return to the Spring of Tranquility. You guys can slowly play with it. Without waiting for Master Liaowu's reply, Yun Chujo strolled out of the Changming Hall. Buddha's candle blinked its eyes. It wanted to teach Yun Chujo a lesson, but it was afraid that it would be tricked again, so it simply did not bother with her and continued to torment Master Liaowu and the others. The Lan family's patriarch and elder Tuo naturally would not stay in the Changming Hall and also left with Yun Chujo. When Buddha's candle saw that Yun Chujo had left, it became even more unbridled and almost tortured Master Liaowu half of his old life. Fortunately, the Buddha's candle could only possess the disciples and not the elders with higher Buddha power. Otherwise, it would be even worse. Master Lei took advantage of the time when the Buddha's candle went out to torment the other disciples and whispered to Master Liaowu, "Master, I think only that little girl Yun Chujo can take care of the Buddha's candle. Why don't we ask her for help?" Master Liaowu had no choice but to ask someone to invite Yun Chujo to Changming Palace. Benefactor Yun, as long as you can subdue Buddha's candle, everything that happened before will be written off. What do you think? Yun Shujo rolled her eyes and said awkwardly, "It's not impossible, but you all have to listen to me. No matter what the result is, you can't blame me or go back on your words." Of course. Master Liaowu only wanted to restore his peaceful days, so he naturally agreed. Chapter 48-64. At this moment, Buddha's candle came back and heard their conversation. He snorted coldly and said, "You think too highly of this stupid girl. It's already good enough that I don't find trouble with her, but you still hope that she can deal with me? Dream on." Yun Shujo glanced at Buddha's candle. "Is it fun?" Buddha's candle was stunned. He didn't know what Yun Shujo meant. He curled his lips and said, "Of course it's fun. It's much more fun than playing with those lamp keepers." Yun Shujo glanced at it as if she was looking at an idiot. "Among the 5 treasures of the Zen sect, I'm afraid you're the most useless, right?" "Bullshit. You're the most useless." "How am I useless?" "I can emit Buddha's light and possess other people's bodies. How can I be useless with such heaven-defying abilities?" "Are you blind?" Buddha's candle said angrily. "Since you're so powerful, why don't you use your true form to go out and play? Since you're so powerful, why don't you leave the Zen sect and go out and have a look?" Yun Shujo said with a chuckle. Buddha's candle's eyes flickered. "What do you know? I am Buddha's candle, so of course I have to stay in the Zen sect. As for my main body, it is so precious, how can I move around casually? TSK, what you say is better than what you sing. I think the truth is that your main body is actually not able to withstand a single blow, it is just a scare. Master Liaowu, go and pull out its wick with something. I want to see how it can jump around after it has become a hollow wax." Yun Shujo said with a cold smile. "You dare? Hurry up and kill this stupid girl. Don't listen to her nonsense." Buddha's candle said in a panic. Master Liaowu and the others wouldn't listen to it. They immediately prepared to pull out Buddha's candle and let this disaster extinguish once again. Buddha's candle was dumbfounded. It had just reignited and its strength was still very weak. If these people insisted on pulling its wick, it wouldn't be able to resist at all. It jumped anxiously and released golden light to block the approach of Master Liaowu and the others. Hei Shinjo looked at it with a smile and said in a low voice, "Now that you acknowledge me as your master, I'll let them release you. Otherwise, you can just wait to be extinguished again." Buddha's candle hated that it could burn this female devil into ashes. 10,000 years ago, it would rather be extinguished than submit. Was it going to submit this time? However, it had enough of the loneliness of 10,000 years. Once the candle wick was pulled out, it would sink into the darkness. Who knew when it would be able to give birth to the candle wick again? Buddha's candle suddenly rolled its eyes. HMPH, I can temporarily agree to this stinky girl. At that time, as long as I enter this stinky girl's body, I will be able to burn her into ashes. This was not because it killed its master. It was because she could not withstand the burning of the Buddha's flame and relied on it. Thinking of this, Buddha's candle pretended to be reluctant and said, "All right, I promise you. If you drop your blood on my body, I will establish a contract with you." The corners of Yun Shujia's mouth curled up. She jumped to the front of Buddha's candle, bit her index finger, and dropped her blood on the Buddha's candle. Almost in an instant, the Buddha's candle's soul returned to its original body. The golden light forced Master Liaowu and the others to retreat. At the same time, countless golden Sanskrit appeared in the sky above the Changming Hall. The body of the Buddha's candle suddenly shrank and finally turned into a small candle that was no more than an inch long. It rushed towards Yun Shujia's forehead. The Buddha's candle's idea was very simple. It planned to jump directly into Yun Shujia's forehead. In that case, the Buddha's candle would burn Yun Shujia's spiritual sense. This fellow's idea was pretty good. However, just as it entered Yunchujia's forehead, it was pushed out by a huge force. Chapter 4865 had dragged him into this mess. Buddha's candle fell to the ground with a thud. It was a terrible fall. This fellow was dumbfounded. What on earth had pushed it out? It bravely charged towards Zingius Glabella again, and then fell down again. This fellow decided to settle for the second best. The Glabella didn't work, and her Dantian wasn't bad either. Let's see how she can show off after destroying this smelly girl's Dantian. Hence, this fellow directly charged towards her Dantian and was beaten up by Guai Chao. You little scum, you still dare to dream of getting a share of the Dantian? Shameless. Before Buddha's candle could regain his senses, he was directly knocked out of his Dantian by the black bead. This fellow fell to the ground again. Buddha's candle consoled himself. Since the space between his eyebrows and his Dantian didn't work, he would stay in the palm of his right hand for a while and directly burn the stinky girl's right hand into ashes. Thus, the fellow rushed towards its right palm, only to be chased out by a small flame that was burning in anger. Buddha's candle only felt sorrow coming from within. Why was there a bunch of perverts in this little girl's body? If it did not see wrongly, that was the 10,000-year-old fire marrow in this fellow's right hand. Even the 10,000-year-old fire marrow did not do anything to this stinky girl, so it was likely that it could not do anything to her. It was over. It had failed in its attempt to steal the chicken, and now it had gotten itself involved. The girl no longer had the intention to go against Yunchujo. She tried to enter Zingius' left hand while crying. Fortunately, she was not kicked out this time, and she finally had a place to settle down. However, it was suddenly stunned. Huh? Why did the thing tied to the girl's left and right wrists look familiar? Oh my god, aren't those two guys? Why did they become half dead? It regretted it. It didn't want to become like them. Help. I regret it. Let's cancel the contract right now. Otherwise, I won't be polite. Buddha's candle said angrily. Yunchujo snorted, dream on. Stay here, or I'll pull out your core and burn it for fun. Woo-woo, you can't do this. If I knew you were such a woman, I would never let you have me no matter what. Yunchujo, Master Liaowu and the others were all dumbfounded at this moment. They had been blinded by the golden light of the Buddha's candle previously, so they had just regained their sight. They also happened to see the Buddha's candle, which had shrunk countless times, enter Yunchujia's left hand. What was going on? An elder suddenly cried out in surprise, Buddha's candle. The Buddha's candle was actually contracted by her. What? The Buddha's candle had actually established a contract with this Yunchujo? Amitba, Buddha, Master Liaowu, what is going on? Master Liaowu asked in a trembling voice. Alas, if I don't go to hell, who will? I'm just too kind. I saw that you guys couldn't do anything with this Buddha's candle, so I reluctantly accepted it. This way, your Zen sect will cease to exist in the future, said Yunchujo with a sympathetic tone. Sect Master Lei Wu and the people of the Zen sect almost died from anger. You fucking are trying to be nice by taking advantage of me. And you still want to force us? Although this Buddha's candle was a little crazy, it was still a treasure of the Zen sect. How could we let this stupid girl take advantage of us just like that? Master Liaowu, this is a little inappropriate. After all, this Buddha's candle is a treasure of our Zen sect. Before Master Liaowu could finish his words, he was interrupted by Yunchujo. This guy said with a smile, Master Liaowu, I'm sorry, but I can't help you. Master Liaowu, we have already agreed beforehand. No matter what the result is, you can't blame me or go back on your words. Are you going back on your words? Chapter 4866, everyone is happy. Master Liaowu almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He had a misconception that Yun Shujiu must have set up a trap on purpose. She had wanted to kidnap the Buddha's candle in the first place. It was too wicked. If he said it out loud, what would he do now? Could he just watch Yun Shujiu kidnap their Zen sect's Buddha's candle? Master Liaowu thickened his skin and said, Almsgiver Yun, that may be the case, but there are exceptions to everything. After all, this Buddha's candle is an important treasure of our Zen sect. You see, Yun Shujiu summoned the Buddha's candle from her left palm and said, Master Liaowu, how about this? Let this Buddha's candle choose for itself. If it chooses you, I will immediately cancel the contract with it. If it chooses me, nothing can be forced. The Buddha's candle will belong to me. What do you think? Master Liaowu had no other choice at the moment. He felt that this method was not bad. As long as he understood it with emotion and reason, the Buddha's candle would definitely choose to stay in the Zen sect. Buddha's candle, you are an important treasure of the Zen sect to begin with. It is more appropriate for you to stay in the Zen sect. Moreover, there is a special hall of longevity here to worship you. You can absorb the psyche power of the tribute. This will be very beneficial to your cultivation. If you are willing to stay in the Zen sect, as long as you promise not to do anything reckless, we will not take your candle wick, Master Liaowu said sincerely. When the Buddha's candle heard this, it immediately jumped toward Master Liaowu happily. Anyway, the smelly girl said that as long as it chose Master Liaowu, she would break the contract with it. Only a fool would choose her. Halfway through jumping, Buddha's candle heard Yun Shujiu's sinister voice coming from her divine sense. You aren't so naive to think that I will really break the contract with you, are you? Hurry up and get back here. Buddha's candle, you can't play with me like that. You are deceiving your baby's feelings. However, it knew that this black-hearted smelly girl would do anything, so it could only crawl back bit by bit, feeling wronged. Master Liaowa's smile suddenly froze. He had thought that Buddha's candle would choose to stay in the Zen sect, but it turned out to be a false joy. Seeing that Buddha's candle had returned to her side, Yun Shujiu said with a smile, Master Liaowu, since Buddha's candle has made a choice, let's respect its choice. Respect? Do you even know what respect is? Shameless. Too shameless. Master Liaowa's face was very ugly. Although there was no turning back now, it would be strange if he was in a good mood since his precious treasure had been cheated. Yun Shujiu said with a smile, although I reluctantly took the Buddha's candle and I have to clean up its aftermath in the future, it is still a treasure of the Zen sect. It is indeed inappropriate for me to take it away just like that. As soon as Yun Shujiu said this, both the Buddha's candle and Master Liaowa's eyes lit up. What did this little girl mean? Did she change her mind? At this moment, Yun Shujiu took out an upper-grade spirit stone and threw it to Master Liaowu. Here, take it as I bought it. Master Liaowu almost died of anger. An upper-grade spirit stone? The treasure of the Zen sect was worth an upper-grade spirit stone? Master Liaowu was about to flare up when he saw Yun Shujiu take out a sheepskin scroll. This is an ancient Buddhist scripture that I obtained by accident. I'll give it to you as a reward. Master Liaowu took the sheepskin scroll and looked at it. His expression immediately softened. It was indeed an ancient Buddhist scripture. Although it couldn't be compared to the Buddha's candle, it was still better than nothing. Besides, this Buddha's candle was a troublemaker. It wasn't bad to get rid of it. So, everybody's happy. Well, except Buddha's candle. Chapter 48-67 Courting Death with One's Life. Buddha's candle felt very sullen. Could it be that a dignified Buddha's candle was worth a high-grade spirit stone and a lousy Buddhist scripture? But, what could it do? Wailing. The Lan family's ancestor watched the entire scene from the side and felt that all of this was like a dream. Originally, Buddha's candle was still yelling and yelling at the troublemakers, but why did it still recognize its master in the end? He had only used an ancient Buddhist scripture to exchange for a month of cultivation time, but the little girl had also used an ancient Buddhist scripture to exchange for Buddha's candle. How could this be reasonable? Just as the Lan family's patriarch was thinking about this, he suddenly frowned. The other people in Changming Hall also changed their expressions and left Changming Hall at the same time. Wu Yun and the others looked at each other. They saw large pieces of dark clouds gathering together, and the pressure was getting stronger and stronger. Everyone looked at Yun Chuzhou. It was probably because the little girl had established a contract with Buddha's candle, which attracted the heavenly tribulation. Buddha's candle was trembling in fear. It was over, it was over, it was really unlucky. If the little girl was struck to death by lightning, it would not be able to live. Woo, was it easy? It was not easy to give birth to Candlestick again, but it was going to die before it had enough fun. If it had known earlier, it would not have bothered this wretched girl. It was truly regretful. Just as it was crying, it saw a strange smile on the corner of Yun Chujia's mouth. Buddha's candle could not help but curse secretly. This wretched girl was most likely crazy. It thought that since it was going to die anyway, it had nothing to fear. Hence, it used its spiritual sense to curse, wretched girl. It's all your fault. In your previous life, you whipped my candle, causing me to fall into hibernation. It wasn't easy for me to condense the candle wick again, but you lied to me and made me sign a contract with you. Even if I become a ghost, I won't spare you. You are a sinister, vicious, and shameless female devil. You deserve to be struck by lightning, you have suffered retribution. Although I won't be able to live, you won't be able to recover either, ha ha ha. The silly cuteness in the spirit beast pouch, as well as the little flame, only had one comment regarding the Buddha's candle's performance: stupid. Yun Chuzhou didn't take the Buddha's candle's words to heart. It was just a small candle, how could it turn the sky upside down? She looked at the gathering dark clouds and said, this heavenly lightning should be coming for me. After all, I just contracted the Buddha's candle. Since it's my karma, I can't drag everyone and the Zen sect down. I'll find a place where no one is around to be struck. Master Liaowu and the others simply couldn't believe that Yun Chuzhou would say such righteous words. Oh my, did this black-hearted little girl find her conscience? But that was also true. She probably knew that she wouldn't survive, so she didn't commit any sins. Master Liaowu, there's an empty space at the back of the mountain on the left side of the peak. Why don't you go there to face the tribulation? Master Liaowu suggested. Yun Chuzhou nodded and immediately rushed in the direction that Master Liaowu pointed out. Master Liaowu looked at Yun Chujia's back and shook his head. It was hard to go against the will of heaven. No matter how crafty this little girl was, she would not be able to escape the calamity this time. The expression of the Lan family's ancestor was also a little complicated. This little girl was going to die? Why did he feel a little empty? That was true. He hadn't achieved his goal yet, so he naturally felt a little disappointed. However, after more than an hour, everyone was stunned to realize that no heavenly lightning had struck down. The dark clouds that were originally gathering had actually dispersed. Moreover, they were floating very quickly. It was as if Wu Yun had fled in a panic. What was going on? Chapter 4868 was not a big deal at all. Master Liaowu and the others were shocked. This was the first time they had heard that the heavenly tribulation could be cancelled halfway. On the other side, He Xinjiu was so angry that she was twitching. She had thought that she would be struck by the heavenly tribulation beautifully, but that damn Wu Yun had run away. Xiao Yun, don't run away if you have the ability. Chop me. Chop me. Xiao Yun, don't you want to take back your cloud wings? Quick, I'll stand here and wait for you to chop me. Don't run away. As long as you strike me, I'll return the cloud wings to you. The more He Xinjiu shouted Wu Yun, the faster he ran. It would be a ghost if he believed her words. This demoness had already taken away one of his cloud wings last time. He would only stay if he was stupid. He never dreamed that this demoness would actually jump into the Zen sect. If he had known that this demoness had obtained the Buddha's candle, he would never have accepted this mission. It was better to escape as soon as possible. If it stayed a little longer, its cloud wings might leave it again. As for the punishment for failing to complete the mission, this was nothing compared to losing one or more cloud wings. Hence, He Xinjiu watched as Wu Yun ran away. This fellow stomped her feet angrily, but there was nothing she could do. Fortunately, after returning to the imperial city, she could go to Mount Meru to be struck by lightning. She did not believe that she would meet this thieving cloud again. This fellow was in a bad mood, so he vented his anger on Buddha's candle. Clown candle, what did you say just now? You said that I'm sinister, vicious, and shameless? Yun Shujo said coldly. Buddha's candle was both afraid and hateful. He was naturally afraid that he would be dealt with by Yun Shujo. He hated that Wu Yun was too fucking cowardly. Chop him. Why are you running? Are you crazy? However, it thought about it and decided that it was better not to chop it. At the very least, it would not be implicated. Even if it was scolded, it would be better than being struck to death by lightning. Thinking about it, it felt relieved. If it was willing to scold it, then so be it. After all, it did not care. As Yun Shujo said that, she was about to grab the candle wick of Buddha's candle, but Buddha's candle immediately went numb. Female devil, no, female bodhisattva, I was wrong. I don't dare to do it anymore. Since I'm already your candle, it'll be yours wholeheartedly from now on. I guarantee that it'll be loyal to you. Yun Shujo pouted. What nonsense was she saying? Just as she was about to continue cleaning up Buddha's candle, she saw someone coming from afar. She had no choice but to put the Buddha's candle back into her left palm, preparing to deal with it again when she had the chance. The people who came were Master Liaowu and the others. They saw that the dark clouds were gradually dispersing and were curious about what had happened. That was why they all rushed over. Master Liaowu, why did the dark clouds suddenly disperse? Master Liaowu asked in confusion. Yun Shujo blinked her eyes. I don't know either. I'm 80% sure that it wouldn't kill me because I'm so kind and cute. If Wu Yun heard this guy's words, he would definitely be furious. Kind? Cute? Are you sure these two adjectives have anything to do with it? Shameless female devil. Although Master Liaowu and the others were skeptical, they would never guess the reason why Wu Yun left. He was actually afraid of the female devil in front of him. The ancestor of the Lan family felt that if he continued to stay in the Zen sect, the troublemaker in front of him would probably cause more trouble, so he said, Master Liaowu, we will take our leave now. If there is a chance in the future, we will disturb you again. Good, good. Master Lei, send the three of you off for me, Master Liaowu said hurriedly. Chapter 4869. The old fox was about to settle the score. Master Liaowu almost clapped to send them off. He could not wait to send the troublemaker Yun Shujo away. Otherwise, the three-leaf jade glass Bodhi tree and the tranquil spring would most likely be lost. Master Lei sent Yun Shujo and the other two out of the mountain gate of the Zen sect. Yun Shujo looked at the word bitter erased from the plaque. She curled her lips and said to Master Lei, Master Lei, please tell Master Liaowu that I will visit your Zen sect again soon. Tell him not to miss me too much. The corner of Master Lei's eyes twitched. He reckoned that the sect master would not miss him even if he did not see him in this lifetime. The ancestor of the Lan family shook his head helplessly and exchanged a few pleasantries with Master Lei. Then, he brought He Xinjiu and Elder Tuo on the flying spiritual device and returned to the royal city. On the flying spirit tool, the ancestor of the Lan family stared at Hei Shinjo with a gloomy expression. Hei Shinjo blinked her eyes. This was bad. This old fox was going to settle the score. This fellow was observing her nose, mouth, and heart as she obediently stood there and listened to the training. Anyway, she was certain that the old fox would not kill her. As for the punishment, it did not matter. However, the ancestor of the Lan family did not say anything. He waved his hand and told her to go back to her cabin. This time, Hei Shinjo was not sure what the old fox was thinking about. After Yunchujo left, Hunchback said casually, "I thought that you were going to punish the audacious little girl. Why are you putting her down now?" The ancestor of the Lan family smiled. "Although she is quite mischievous, she managed to stir up the Zen sect, which is in line with my intention. Those old monks are usually arrogant. It's interesting to see them being tormented by her." Thinking of what happened these days, the hunchbacked old man smiled and said, "That's true, but this little girl is full of evil. I'm afraid she won't listen to you. Moreover, if I remember correctly, Luo Chen will be leaving the Forbidden Land this time. Aren't you afraid that Luo Chen will be played around by this little girl? If Luo Chen can't withstand the love tribulation and cannot become a great man, don't worry. I have already sent someone to bring Mu Zian to the main room." Although Luo Chen did not show any emotion towards other women, he had always treated Mu Zian differently. Moreover, Mu Zian was very easygoing and did things in a graceful manner. Perhaps Luo Chen will change his mind. The Lan family's patriarch stroked his beard and said. He did not understand. Was there something wrong with Luo Chen's eyes? Why did he take a fancy to that troublemaker? Although that troublemaker had good looks and was very intelligent, he was a troublemaker. And he was a foodie. He believed that with Mu Zian's contrast, Luo Chen would definitely change his mind. A few days later, the flying spirit tool arrived at the imperial city. Third brother, the Zen sect has always been known for being old-fashioned. Yun Chujiu is also a troublemaker. Perhaps she won't be able to return this time. To be honest, Lan Dimeo wasn't too confident. That troublemaker could cause so much trouble in the Lan family. This might really cause trouble in the Zen sect. However, he said on the surface, second brother, the old ancestor will take care of little Nine, so she will naturally be fine. You are worrying too much. Second elder curled his lips and thought to himself, just keep your mouth shut. In a while, the old ancestor will arrive. When that time comes, you will be crying. Chapter 4870 was a little cute at this moment. A flying spirit tool approached them from afar and landed in front of them. The moment the door of the flying spirit tool opened, the three of them heard Yun Chujia's chattering voice. Old ancestor, we are finally back. If you ask me, our imperial city is much stronger than the Zen sect. Once I return to the imperial city, I feel refreshed. Old ancestor, I have been eating too lightly in the Zen sect these few days. I heard that your culinary skills in the small kitchen are top-notch. I will be coming to your place to freeload from tomorrow onwards. Old ancestor, don't worry. I will not freeload for free. When the time comes, I will play a few songs for you. Second elder's face immediately froze. It seemed that not only did this stinky girl not cause any trouble, she seemed to be even more doted on. The old ancestor must be old and muddle-headed. There were so many direct descendants of the Lan family, yet he doted on this wretched girl who had the most distant blood relationship. He was really old and muddle-headed. Lan Dimeo, on the other hand, was very happy. The more Yun Chujiu was doted on, the more beneficial it would be for the three of them. Naturally, they could not ask for more. The old ancestor of the Lan family walked down the gangway under the forceful support of Yun Chujiu, followed by the speechless old Tuo. He was amazed by Yun Chujia's thick skin. This little girl was able to survive until now because of her thick skin. After the first elder and the other two greeted her, they simply reported the recent situation. It was not a big deal. The Lan family's patriarch looked at the first elder and asked, "The Mu family's Ziyan girl has arrived, right?" The first elder smiled and said, "Patriarch, according to your instructions, I have already brought her to the main house a few days ago. All the expenses are done according to the standards of the Lan family's first daughter. Don't worry." The Lan family's old ancestor nodded. Although Ziyan is a junior, the Mu family's influence is similar to our Lan family's. Don't neglect her. Old ancestor is right. Tomorrow, Luo Chen's punishment period will be over. His relationship with Ziyan has always been good. It just so happens that they can cultivate a relationship. If this marriage can be settled, that would be the best. The great elder smiled and said. The great elder and the others did not know about the entanglement between Lan Luochen and Yun Chuzhou. Hence, they had always thought that the person Lan Luochen fell in love with was Mu Ziyan. After all, he had always treated Mu Ziyan differently from others. The Lan family's forefather glanced at Yun Chuzhou. Seeing that her expression did not change at all, he could not help but feel puzzled. Could it be that this troublemaker really did not have any feelings for Luochen? How could he know that Yun Chuzhi's heart was blooming with joy at this moment? She could not wait for that Mu Ziyan and Lan Luochen to become a couple. To prevent that crazy Lan Luochen from pestering her all the time. The ancestor of the Lan family saw that Yun Chuzhou did not have any reaction and could not help but feel a little frustrated. In his opinion, Lan Luochen was one of the best among the younger generation. He was a rare existence. However, this troublemaker in front of him actually looked down on him. He could not help but feel a little angry in his heart. He looked at Yun Chuzhou again and said, "Ziyan girl is generous and graceful. She has the demeanor of a noble girl. If you have the chance, you should learn from her. Don't act like a crazy girl all day long." Yun Chuzhou said with a smile, "Forefather is right. If I have the chance, I will definitely ask Sister Ziyan for advice. However, there's nothing wrong with me being a naughty monkey. At least I can make you happy, right?" Seeing her shameless look, the Lan family's forefather swallowed back the words that he wanted to teach her a lesson. For some reason, he felt that this little girl's thick-skinned appearance was a little cute. Chapter 4871, Lan Luofeng was punished. The ancestor of the Lan family shook his head. He must have been too busy recently, so he had an illusion. How could this troublemaker be cute? More like hateful. Lan Dimeo and the others sent the ancestor of the Lan family back to the ancestral mansion before returning to their own mansion. While walking back, Lan Dimeo asked He Xinzhou, "Little Zhou, did you get into any trouble when you went to the Zen sect this time?" He Xinzhou blinked her eyes and said, "Yes, I was very obedient. I didn't get into any trouble at all." Lan Dimeo felt that this guy was not telling the truth, but he thought that since she came back safely, she should not have gotten into any trouble. Therefore, he did not ask any more questions. Yun Chuzhou returned to her own yard. After Hong Ling helped her wash up, the guy asked in puzzlement, "Why didn't Sister Luofeng come over?" According to her character, she should have come a long time ago. Hong Ling's expression was a little complicated. Miss Luofeng is injured. I heard that her injuries aren't light. She hasn't left the courtyard for over 10 days. What? She's injured so badly? What happened?" Yun Chuzhou didn't quite believe her ears. Although Lan Luofeng was trash, Jia sure wasn't someone to be trifled with. How could she be injured so badly? I don't know the exact details. I heard that she was punished in the ancestral mansion's punishment hall, Hong Ling said. Yun Chuzhou frowned. No matter what, Lan Luofeng was under her protection, so she could not just stand by and watch. Therefore, this guy jumped into Lan Luofeng's courtyard. Zihua saw Yun Chujiu and her eyes immediately turned red. Miss Cousin, you are finally back. Ever since you went to the Zen sect, our missed days in the ancestral mansion have become more and more unbearable. Now, it's even more, sigh. Yun Chujiu caught some information from Zihua's words. It seemed that Lan Luofang's misery had something to do with her. She understood it after thinking for a moment. In the previous family competition, she had been in the limelight and completely offended the eldest and second branch. Lan Luofang was on good terms with her, so she naturally became the target of their anger. However, with the protection of the Jia Shi, they did not have the courage to do so. She frowned and went straight into the room. As soon as she entered the room, she smelled the strong smell of medicine. When she pushed the door open and saw Lan Luofang, who had lost more than one round of weight on the bed, He Xingjia's anger immediately burned up. She walked to the bedside with a gloomy face and looked at the pale Lan Luofang and asked, "What happened?" Lan Luofang was hesitant to say it, but when she saw Yun Chujiu's gloomy face, she had no choice but to tell the whole story. After Yun Chujiu and the ancestors of the Lan family went to the Zen sect, Lan Luofang was ostracized by Lan Luoyan and the others. But because they were afraid of Jia Shi, no one did anything out of the ordinary. 10 days ago, after lessons, Lan Luofang was about to go back to the third room, but she was stopped by Lan Luoyan outside the door of the ancestral home. Lan Luofang wanted to spar with Lan Luofang. Lan Luofang had a competitive personality, especially after winning 2 consecutive rounds against Lan Luofang. She was very confident. Hence, she agreed. Unexpectedly, during the spar, she accidentally injured Mu Ziyan, who was watching from the side. Mu Ziyan even spat out a mouthful of blood on the spot. This time, she had stirred up a hornet's nest. The guards and maids that Mu Ziyan had brought with her immediately refused and insisted on getting an explanation from the Lan family. Chapter 48-72, Mu Ziyan and Lan Luochen. Fortunately, Mu Ziyan was a person of great righteousness. She repeatedly said that she was too close to Lan Luofang and that was why Lan Luofang accidentally injured her. It had nothing to do with Lan Luofang. However, even if Mu Ziyan said so, in the end, Lan Luofang was still punished in the punishment hall of the ancestral residence. It could be considered as an explanation to Mu Ziyan. Although Jia Shi was angry and hurt, the Jia family's strength was not comparable to the Mu family's. Moreover, under the public's eyes, everyone said that it was Lan Luofang's fault. She could only forcefully swallow her anger. After listening to Lan Luofang's story, Yun Chujiu sneered and asked, "Then who decided your punishment?" The first elder, second elder, and grandfather discussed it together. Lan Luofang smiled bitterly. Lan Dimeo had never cared about Lan Luofang, who had an average cultivation level, and he did not want to offend the Mu family, so he did not speak up for her during the discussion. If it were not for the fact that the first and second elders were still worried about Jia Shi's family, they would not have just been lying in bed for half a month. "What do you think of this matter?" Yun Chujiu asked faintly. Lan Luofang smiled bitterly once again. "What can I think? Even if I know that this is a trap set by Lan Luofang Mu Ziyan, what can I do? Mu Ziyan was sent here by the ancestor. Furthermore, the Mu family's strength is on par with our Lan family. I can only swallow my anger. Don't tell me that I can go against her. Tell me about Mu Ziyan." Yun Chujiu's face turned cold. Initially, she did not have any good or bad feelings towards Mu Ziyan. But now, since she had made a move against Lan Luofang, let her learn a lesson. Lan Luofang saw the killing intent in Yun Chujiu's eyes and could not help but shiver. Why did she feel that this little trash's killing intent was even stronger than before? Mu Ziyan is one of the 4 fairies of the Chongshao continent. Not only is she beautiful, but her behavior is also elegant. Her reputation has always been very good, and there are many descendants of aristocratic families who admire her. I heard that she came here this time to settle the marriage between her and Lan Luochen. Lan Luofeng paused for a moment and then said with some gossip, I heard that when Lan Luochen just returned to the Lan family, he was saved by Mu Zian during an experiential learning. Naturally, a man and a woman had an affair. Moreover, Lan Luchen's mother is also a member of the Mu family. It's just that his grandfather's branch has already declined, while Mu Zian's branch is a direct descendant. Come to think of it, this Mu Zian calls Lan Luochen cousin. Yun Shujiu nodded and asked curiously, oh right, as far as I know, Lan Luochen was originally not in the Chongshao continent. How did he return to the Lan family? Lan Luofeng said somewhat uncertainly, I'm not too sure about the specifics. In any case, Lan Luchen's parents passed away long ago. A few years ago, the Lan family's ancestor sent someone to bring him back to the Lan family. TSK, when he first came back, he was often ostracized and framed by the people of the big house. He was even killed in the open. After all, no one was willing to part with the family property out of the blue. It was said that the ancestor was ready to announce that he would be the next successor of the family head. However, for some reason, he suddenly went to Towering Sky Continent. He only returned with serious injuries half a year ago. He was even locked up in a forbidden area by the first elder. Initially, I had a good impression of him. However, he was actually blind enough to have an affair with that Mu Zian. He deserved to be punished. Lan Luofeng's eyes lit up when she mentioned these rumors. She even threw the injuries on her body to the side. Chapter 4874, Beating the Crap Out of People. The crowd burst into laughter again, mixed with sarcastic words. Lan Luofeng's face turned red. Just as she was about to refute, she saw Yun Shujiu slowly walk up to Lan Luoyen. Apologize to me and Sister Luofeng right now, or I won't be polite. Lan Luoyen snorted coldly. Yun Shujiu, stop pretending to apologize. In your dreams. Slap. Slap. No one expected Yun Shujiu to slap Lan Luoyen directly. Lan Luoyen's face instantly swelled up like a pig's head. Yun Shujiu, how dare you hit me? I'll go to the punishment hall and sue you right now. Lan Luoyen covered her cheeks and said angrily. Since you're going to sue me, it'll make the evidence more conclusive. Yun Shujiu said until here and directly pulled Lan Luoyen's hair and gave her another round of beating. Lan Luofeng also took the opportunity to kick Lan Luoyen twice, feeling very happy in her heart. The others in the cultivation hall did not react at first. When they reacted and wanted to help Lan Luoyen had already fainted from the beating. Yun Shujiu glanced at the others. I heard that someone bullied my sister Luofeng while I was away. I'll give you one chance. Apologize to my sister Luofeng immediately. Otherwise, I'll let him know what it means to be in so much pain that he wishes he was dead. Lan Luofeng, who was in the main room, was Lan Luoyen's lackey. When she saw the situation, she said with a stern expression, Yun Shujiu, don't go overboard. The people from the punishment hall will be here soon. Yun Shujiu ignored her and asked Lan Luofeng, who was beside her, has she scolded you before? Lan Luofeng nodded repeatedly like a chicken nagging rice. Yes, she has. Other than Lan Luofeng, she's the one who scolded the most. When Yun Shujiu heard this, she immediately walked towards Lan Luofeng. Lan Luofeng was so frightened that she begged Lan Luocheng for help. Brother Luocheng, save me. Although Lan Luocheng was unwilling to meddle in such matters, Lan Luofeng was after all a member of the main branch. He frowned and shouted sternly, Yun Shujiu, what are you trying to do? Why aren't you stopping? Yun Chuzhou smiled. Since Brother Luoqing has spoken, then let's forget about it. Lan Luomei heaved a sigh of relief and thought to herself, no matter how arrogant this Yun Chuzhou is, she wouldn't dare to have a conflict with Lan Luoqing. Just as she was thinking about it, she received a heavy slap on her face, causing her to stagger. Following that, she was sent flying and crashed into the wall of the cultivation hall. She fell miserably. Lan Luoqing said in a flustered and exasperated manner, Yun Chuzhou, aren't you going to say forget about it? That's right. Otherwise, I would have given her 2 slaps. You tried to be lenient, but I only gave her 1 slap. I gave you a lot of face, Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. When everyone heard this, their hearts felt as though they were crying dogs. Since when did the punishment hall become so polite when it came to arresting people? Return it to you? Please. Yun Chuzhou nodded and slowly followed the guards of the punishment hall to the punishment hall. Lan Luofeng was worried and followed obediently. The others supported Lan Luomei and Lan Luoyen, who had just woken up and followed behind. Lan Luomu was among them, and his face showed some suspicion. Although Lan Luoyen and Lan Luomei's cultivation was not high, they were not so weak that they could not even fight back. How could they be beaten up so easily by Yun Chuzhou? Elder Ning's head hurt a little when he saw He Xinjiu strolling in. Chapter 48-75. Eldest cousin Elder Ning was about to speak when he heard Yun Chuzhou say, Elder Ning, I was wrong. I beat up Lan Luoyen and Lan Luomei. Although they deserve to be beaten up, the ancestral residence has its own rules. I accept the punishment. Lan Luofeng almost fainted. Was this little devil crazy? Why did she accept the punishment so quickly? Elder Ning was also stunned. Did this little girl eat the wrong medicine? At this moment, he heard Yun Chuzhou continue, however, I still have to play a tune for the old ancestor these few days, so I'll record the punishment first. Save a little more and I'll pay it back together. Elder Ning's nose almost went crooked from anger. It was the first time he heard that the punishment of the Hall of Punishment had a record. Elder Ning was about to flare up, but he saw that Yun Chuzhou had already run away. As for the guards of the Hall of Punishment, they acted as if they didn't see her. What a joke. This little devil killed without batting an eye and was favored by the ancestor. Unless they were full of themselves, they would only stop her. Lan Luofeng learned her lesson and quickly ran away with her. Elder Ning was so angry that he kept twitching. He angrily went to complain to the ancestor. Lan Luoyen and the others were gloating over Yun Chuzhou's misfortune. This Yun Chuzhou was really seeking death by playing tricks. The punishment this time would definitely not be light. Lan Luofeng caught up with Yun Chuzhou and said anxiously, Little Zhou, what should we do next? Elder Ning won't let it go just like that. Don't worry. My ancestor dotes on me the most. He won't punish me. Come, let's go back to class. It's been a long time since I've seen Mr. Shi. I still miss him a little. He Xinjiu said with a smile. The corner of Lan Luofeng's eyes twitched. Mr. Shi probably wouldn't miss her. It had been such a long time, but he still couldn't transform into a supplementary spirit beast. He was even more useless than her. No one knew what the old ancestor of the Lan family had said to Elder Ning. Anyway, until the class ended, no one from the punishment hall came to catch Yun Chuzhou. This fellow swaggered out of the ancestral residence with Lan Luofeng. As soon as they left the main door of the ancestral residence, Yun Chuzhou dragged Lan Luofeng back to the ancestral residence. Then, she leaned on the crack of the door and looked out. Lan Luofeng looked baffled and also looked out through the crack of the door. She saw a man and a woman standing not far away from the door. The man was dressed in white. He was so handsome that it seemed unreal. It made people wonder how such a handsome man could exist in the world. In front of him stood a woman dressed in pink with beautiful features. She smiled sweetly. It was Lan Luochen and Mu Ziyan. "Cousin, you're finally out." "Have you recovered from your injuries? Did you eat the 9 Revolutions essence building pill that I had someone send over last time?" Mu Ziyan's eyes were filled with adoration. Lan Luochen frowned slightly. He was obviously a little anxious, but he still said gently, "Thank you, Miss Mu. But don't send me these things in the future. I don't need them." "Cousin, how many times have you said, you can just call me Ziyan, calling me Miss Mu is too distant." "Cousin, this time I'm here." Actually, Mu Ziyan was a little shy and was about to mention the engagement, but she saw Lan Luochen suddenly turn around and run towards the gate of the ancestral home. He was so fast that she could only see an afterimage. He Xinjiu saw that Lan Luochen had actually found her, so she was so scared that she didn't care about Lan Luofeng anymore, and ran into the ancestral home. After running for a distance, this guy was stunned. Huh? Why was she running? Since they would meet again in the future, she could not avoid him even if she could avoid him. If that was the case, why was she so cowardly? Therefore, this guy stopped and bared his white teeth at Lan Luochen, who had already caught up to him. "Big cousin, are you also in a hurry to find the toilet?" Chapter 4876. This big sister. Even in his dreams, Lan Luochen did not expect that the first sentence between him and Yun Shujiu would actually be, "Big cousin, are you also in a hurry to find the toilet?" Seeing that Lan Luochen did not say anything, Yun Shujiu clutched her stomach and said, "Big cousin, the male toilet is over there. You're going in the wrong direction." "Little Jiu, I'm not." "Big cousin, don't tell me that you want to go to the female toilet," Yun Shujiu said in fear. "Little Jiu, forget it. If you want to go to the female toilet, then go. I'll go back to the 3rd toilet and go to the toilet." After He Xinjiu said that, she ran to the front door of the ancestral residence. When He Xinjiu was about to reach the front door of the ancestral residence, she was stopped by Mu Ziyan. "This sister looks unfamiliar. Could it be that you are Sister Yun from the 3rd house?" Mu Ziyan said with a smile, but her eyes were full of inquiry. Yun Shujiu glanced at Mu Ziyan. "I'm sorry, sister. My stomach hurts. I don't have time to chat with you." After saying that, Yun Shujiu walked past Mu Ziyan and left the ancestral residence. She ran far away. Lan Luofeng also ran away with her. Lan Luochen wanted to chase after her, but Mu Ziyan blocked his way. "Cousin, you knew that Sister Yun before? You didn't know her in Atlas, did you?" Lan Luochen was a little impatient, but he remembered that Mu Ziyan had saved him before, so he softened his tone and said, "That's right, we are old acquaintances. We will get married soon." Mu Ziyan couldn't believe her ears. What? They were going to be married soon? Her body trembled slightly. "Cousin, you said that you are going to be married?" Lan Luochen nodded, his eyes showing a faint joy. He took the risk to reveal Little Nine's grandmother's matter. He wanted to pursue Little Nine legitimately, and then marry her. Although he had hesitated back then and was afraid that Little Jiu would be in danger when she reached the Lan family, she was smart enough to deal with it. Now it seemed that his decision was right. From now on, he could get along with her day and night. And that Di Baiming could only hope to see her once. Little Jiu was still his after all. Mu Ziyan saw the joy and anticipation in Lan Luchen's eyes. Her nails sank into her palms without even knowing it. On what basis? Why did that bitch easily snatch away her cousin's heart? It was clearly her cousin whom she had met first. Although that incident, no matter what, she had given him spirit herbs and cared for him. Could it be that she was worse than a bitch from a lower continent? Although Mu Ziyan was gnashing her teeth with hatred in her heart, she forced a smile on her face. "Cousin, congratulations." As Lan Luochen was about to go to the 3rd room to chase after Yun Shujiu, he heard Mu Zian exclaim. He frowned and turned his head. He saw Mu Zian clutching her chest. Her face was pale and her forehead was full of cold sweat. He quickly asked, "Miss Mu, what happened to you?" "A few days ago, I was accidentally injured by Sister Luofang. I thought I had recovered, but I didn't expect it to relapse now. Cousin, you don't have to worry about me. Go chase Sister Yun." Mu Zian bit her lips and said. Lan Luochen frowned and looked at Mu Zian's maids and guards. "Quickly take your miss back to the manor and send someone to look for the doctor." After Lan Luochen said that, he turned around and chased after the third room. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.